feel?
It's cooling off.
In the beginning, there was nothing. But in the darkness, a faint light appeared in the vortex of the abyss. That light intensified and became what we now know to be the center of the universe. The Toronto Maple Leafs.
On this third rock from the sun known as Earth, the Maple Leafs in the game of hockey still rule the sports world of Toronto, where the media will marvel at the wardrobe and shaving habits of the head coach, where the captain is worshipped more than a downtown parking spot. The home of the Leafs is considered a shrine by its fans, where only the gods of the game come to play. Tonight, that team they view to be from another universe comes to town, led by cosmonaut Habibulin, whose play has been out of this world this season and who could lead the Jets into another dimension, known as the playoffs. Tonight, from Toronto, it's the Jets and the Leafs live on CKND Winnipeg TV. Molson Jets Hockey on CKND Winnipeg TV is brought to you by Molson Canadian. And good evening, everyone. I'm Joe Pascucci along with Kerry Wilson. We're here tonight in Winnipeg. The Jets are playing the Leafs in Toronto. And Kerry, this is the last game for the Jets before the All-Star break. They have a 19-22-4 record, 42 points, good enough for 8th place in the Western Conference standings. Your assessment on their play leading up to tonight?
Well, I think to date their play has been good, but there are some holes that they do have to fill in. I think number one, consistency. This team has got some great players. They've got the superstars in Habibulin's been doing well in goal, but the superstars Solani, Kachuk, Jamnov, these guys got to come out and play consistently better and score more goals. They're struggling on the goal department and coming up in those big opportunities for getting the 2 points. Back on defense, they got to shut down a little bit better, fill in some holes there. They've been a little bit lax, but overall, I think they're playing pretty darn close to 500 hockey. After the break, there can be some real positives to look forward to for the end of the season.
They're coming off a positive last night. Nikolai Habibulin stopping 37 shots as the Jets managed a 1-1 tie in Washington. They now go into Toronto. Of course, a little tired. How do you expect them to play?
Well, I think first of all, they can't rely too heavily on Habibulin. I mean, he's coming in, he's playing fantastic hockey just the way he left before his injury, but again, the team's got to come out and get more goal scoring. They can't rely too heavily on getting just 1 goal or 2 goals scored against every game. They've got to get those superstars going. All
right, and they certainly can't rely, as Kerry had said, on just one player or just 4 players. Maybe they need the whole team going. Take a look at the Western Conference standings. At the top, of course, Detroit, the Jets with 42 points, holding down that 8th and final playoff spot, but there's more teams than just the Calgary Flames chasing them right now. But a big game for the Jets, because a win would move them right back up into 5th place. So they get on a hot streak, they could really make some things happen.
Well, the league is close, and that has got to be a real plus that these guys can look forward to, that if they can come out with a win, 2 points, that'll just pole vault them right up in a fifth place standing, and that's a great way to end going into the All-Star break. Give themselves something to look forward to in the second half of the season. All
right, let's bring in our 2 men on the scene. Kurt Kielbach is in Toronto with Gord Stellick, former general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Hello again, everybody. Well, by way of introduction, Gord Stellick, who's doing the color for us tonight, former general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, of course, more knowledgeable because he does a radio show. Gord, are the Leafs happy by the way things have gone up until the All-Star break?
You know, they really are. I mean, Pat Burns and the club, the record's about what they want it to be. I mean, Detroit and Colorado, still the class of the division. What they like, though, is guys like Benoit Hogue, Larry Murphy, starting to find their niche with the team, and that's important this time of year.
And, of course, they count big time on a guy who'll be going to the All-Star break, and Mike Gartner.
They really do. Now, Mike Gartner, we talk about the Gilmores and the Sundins and everybody else, but what a year for Golden Oldies. He's pushing 36. You've got Messier in New York, Gretzky in Los Angeles. Mike Gartner has 22 goals. That's tops among all Toronto Maple Leaf players, so you can't ignore the Golden Oldie on the Maple Leafs.
Looking over on the Jets side, the power play has been dynamic recently, and one of the reasons has been the play of Norm McIver.
Well, just what the Leafs did in adding a guy like Larry Murphy, I'll tell you, a key for the Jets, you got to get some punch from the blue line, particularly when you have all your scoring stacked on one line. And Norm McIver, since he he came over from the Pittsburgh Penguins. Always been a solid offensive defenseman in the American League with Ottawa, with Pittsburgh, now with Winnipeg. They've got the #2 power play in the NHL and a power play goal every single game since McIver came over.
Last game for a lot of these players before they head south for various reasons. What do you look for?
Well, I think, hopefully they don't have the ticket in their back pocket and planning to head out of here right away. I think there should be a lot of jam and a lot of punch because it's an honor to go to the All-Star game, and that's the minority of these guys. But the other guys, they wanted this break for a long time. It's like last day of school. So go out, have some fun, have a good game.
So we'll see how much fun it is. Stand by for the opening face-off here on CKND, Winnipeg TV.
Molson Jets Hockey on CKND is brought to you in part by the home of the Big Buy, Jim Coche Chevol's Geo Cadillac.
In today's world of beers, Molson Dries in a world all its own.
Day after day, you see the same thing. Car and truck buyers driving all over Manitoba looking for great deals, only to end up at the home of the big buy, Jim Coche. And then they ask, how do you always have the best prices? And how can you sell your cars and trucks for so much less than everybody else? Well, the answer is easy. Volume! If you don't come see the big guy today, he can't save you any money.
On McPhillips, north of Inkster. Dead batteries, flat tires, stuck cars. They're facts of life. Fact is, 140,000 Manitobans depend on their CAA membership every year. For over 90 years, we've been providing the finest emergency road service.
Right on time, fast, and we were happy to see them.
Face facts. You may need our help today.
For everywhere you go today, go with CAA.
Be a winner. Help kids right here in Manitoba by supporting the Easter Seals Great Escape Lottery. Grand prize is a brand new GMC Sierra and Deluxe Sportsmaster fifth wheel from Transcona Trailer. Or take 50 grand in cash. Also win $1,000 weekly. Proceeds from the Easter Seals Great Escape Lottery provide vital service for more than 1,200 Manitoba children with disabilities. Only 7,500 tickets will be sold at just $40 each. So call 988-1995 now and get ready to win.
Looking at one of the most famous buildings in hockey. If you're in Toronto, it's located at Carlton and Church. Let's go there now.
Thanks, Joe. The Winnipeg Jets have been successful often in this particular building. In fact, more often than not, 16 wins, 13 losses. However, they've lost the last 6 trips to Maple Leaf Gardens. Play gets underway. Here's Shamnov with it for Winnipeg, and it's called to the offside immediately. In goal for the Winnipeg Jets, their MVP this season, Nikolai Hamilton, who played outstanding again last night after returning from a 20-game absence in a 1-1 tie in Washington. He's got a record of 11-5 plus the tie. And opposite him, Felix Potvin, 18-11. Along with 6 ties, and each goaltender has recorded a shutout this year. Now the puck is in the center ice area. With it is Manson. It's flipped rink wide. Going to get it there is McIver. McIver tried to flip it out, and it goes high and out of play. Gord Stellick is with us tonight, providing the color commentary.
Pat Burns, of course, the coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and now the senior head coach, current active coach in the National Hockey League with Bob Gainey, deciding to split up the dual portfolio and become a general manager only. So Pat Burns, longevity-wise, the longest one with the Toronto Maple Leafs in the NHL. And what a team they had in Philadelphia a few years ago. Terry Simpson, head coach here. Ken Hitchcock catches on in Dallas, and Craig Hartsburg with the Chicago Blackhawks. They all coached together with the Philadelphia Flyers a few years ago.
Doug Gilmour and Alexei Shamnov face off in the Jets on. Here's Momesso. Flips it in wide. Going after it is Gardner. Puts it in front. And with it is Shamnov. Looks ahead for Tkachuk with Korolev, who takes the pass. Korolev moves slowly over the line. Looks back for Tkachuk. A shot. That went over top. McIver from the blue line. Can't keep it in. Momesso poked it back. And with it is Manson. Ahead for Tkachuk. Tkachuk gives it to McIver. with Korolev to his left. He takes the pass. Korolev looks, puts it out in front. McCowan knocked it away. Now with it is Tkachuk. Tkachuk approached by Gilmore. Puts it in deep. Taken there by Korolev. Back to the blue line, Manson. He dumps it in. Hotman leaves for McCowan. McCowan for Gartner. Pokes it to the line. Kept in by Zhenov. And back to get behind his goal for Toronto is Yuskevich. He moves it out to center ice. Long shot. It bounces wide. It will not be icing. Now Gunas back for Winnipeg. Touches it. The puck comes out in front. And with it is Solani. Back for Winnipeg. Lead pass. That's taken by Drake. Drake into the middle. Over to Olczyk. His shot. It was called to the offside.
Well, take a look at the officials for tonight's game, too. In Toronto, Kurt, if you want to go to a quick game, don't go to a Blue Jay game when Juan Guzman pitches, and don't go to a hockey game when Dan Marawelli referees, because 3-hour Marawelli, one of the better ones in the NHL, but also when they did a poll a while ago, on average, his games were the longest, I think, around the 3-hour mark of any other NHL official. The linesman Ron Asselstein and Dan McCourt.
Face-off will come just outside the Toronto line. Olczyk is out between Solani and Drake for Winnipeg. Sundin out there for Toronto along with Warner and Wood. Puck is dumped into the Leaf zone. And covering up is Potman.
Well, pretty cautious first couple of minutes. Quite a few whistles. Eddie Olczyk coming back to a city where I tell you, when times were tough, Eddie Olczyk, one of the better players in tough times. Certainly when I was here as general manager, he was our leading scorer, I believe, the 1 year. Chicago boy, his second trip back to Winnipeg. And he's been a big plus this year. They've counted Eddie out once or twice. He came back with the New York Rangers, and now another coming with the Winnipeg Jets. Talked to him before the game, and I guess a few of them are going to check out Phoenix, Arizona over the All-Star break for what lies ahead next season.
Here's Solani's shot that goes wide. Newman at the blue line trying to dump it in. It's knocked down by Warner. He clears it away. And back to get it is Malgunas. Now Gunas can't clear. Sundin takes it in deep. Now Gunas is replacing Darren Quint the last couple of games. Puck bounces out in front. Newman and trying to knock it away. It goes now to Warner. Puts it in deep for Wood. Back to the point for Gill. Poked by him by Olczyk. And going back forward is Gill.
Got to keep an eye on is Todd Warner. He's getting all kinds of ice time. The coach has gained some confidence in this young man.
Here's Yallett trying it for Warner. He pumps it into the jet zone. Daryl Shannon provides some blocking, then manages to flip it out to Stapleton. Stapleton put it out to center ice, and it's dumped back by Murphy to Berg. Berg gains the line. Long shot wide. It's dumped into the jet corner, and going for it there is Stapleton. Knocked off the puck by Berg. Here's Jansson's shot. That's blocked by Habebulen. Puck is into the corner. Domi centers it. Penalty coming. Hook shot. Rebound cleared away. And there's going to be a penalty to the Winnipeg Jets.
Well, Bill Berg, he's a guy I don't think a lot of NHL opponents missed for quite a few games when he was out with a knee injury. First penalty of the game does go to the Jets. Berg created the interference in front of the net. Stapleton will take the first minor. So the Maple Leafs will get the first power play. You see in the corner, Bill Berg's hit starts it right on Stapleton right there. Forced him to cough the puck, and ultimately Stapleton with the stick in on Bill Berg. That's a great play. Those are the types of things, Kurt, that don't show up on the score sheet. And Bill Berg goes in at about 20 seconds. The hit, not afraid to stick his nose into it. The Maple Leafs get their first power play. Bill Berg sitting on the bench. The glory guys now on the ice, the snipers.
Dallas Drake, who traditionally makes one huge hit per game, usually very early.
Good to get out of your system early, I guess.
Well, he's certainly the hardest hitting member of the Winnipeg Jets. Here's Murphy back at his blue line. Gets it over now to Janssen. Puts it out in front. Sundin shot. Habebulen down. And he covers up.
Well, the Maple Leaf power play right now 7th in the NHL, 19.6% efficiency. The Jets have struggled killing penalties. 22nd they rank on the league. And a big reason is the Jets here laying off the point, and the Leafs have some pretty good point men, a chance to work it around, work it in the wrist shot and net, but the key is Happy Poulin pounces on it. Sundin, Gilmore, Gartner not able to whack in the rebound.
Gilmore, Gartner, Sundin up front of the power play. Janssen back with Murphy. Puck goes in behind the Jet goal. Manson gives it to Tkachuk, and he dumps it the distance. 1:45 left in that penalty. To the Jets, Mike Stapleton, no score, nearing the 3-minute mark of the opening period. Fourth meeting of the season between these clubs. The Leafs have taken 2 of 3. Murphy gets it over now to Sundin, dumps it in. Tkachuk goes back for it, leaves it there. McIver trying to clear. He does. And Murphy goes back for Toronto. Looks ahead to Gilmore. Pass one off his stick. Picked up by Eastwood. Tried to feed Drake. That was knocked back. And with it is Murphy. Around for Ellett. Back to Murphy. Murphy looks to Gartner on the left side. Feeds in the pass at center ice. Dumps it down into the Jet zone. After it is Sundin. Behind now for Gilmore. Into the corner, Gartner. Gartner back for Ellett. Ellett, Gartner. Two men in front. Gartner takes a look. Lets it go wide. It goes back. Murphy's shot. Blocked by McIver. And he clears it away. 48 seconds left in that penalty to Stapleton. Ellett is back as the Leafs make changes on the power play.
Good penalty killing job by the Jets. They're not allowing the first shot and certainly not the second shot at Habibulin.
Here's Ellett. He fires it in. After it, Momesso. Momesso leaves it for Hogue. Behind the net, here's Warner, pursued by Numminen. Checked by Numminen. Numminen clears it out, and Gill has it. Watched there by King. Puts it ahead now for Hogue. Four Jets line up across the line. He gets the pass over to Ellett. He dumps it in. Left there for Numminen. And again, Numminen able to clear it away with only 10 seconds left in the penalty to Stapleton. Back to get it is Gill. Gives to Ellett. Ellett looks for Warner on the right side. He moves into the Jet zone. Dumps it in behind the net for Momesso. Momesso lost it to Manson. Manson to Stapleton out of the penalty box. Gets it up now 3-on-2 the Jets. Here's McIver with Gemma. Back to Gemma. A big rebound. A backhand, the save by Potvin. And with it is Ellett. Ellett flips it high. A bouncing shot all the way down. Back to get it is Manson. And that'll be icing against the Maple Leafs. You're tuned to the Jets and the Leafs on CKND Winnipeg TV.
Ladies and gentlemen.
If it doesn't have spirit, it's not worth doing. Stretch out.
Dad, you worked late.
All night. Need any help?
No.
Good, because I'm too tired.
Tested and true.
Dad!
I know that you'll always come through.
Thought you could use some help.
Thanks.
Welcome back. We're going to tell you right now that they've had a power failure at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. That's why we've lost the feed. Everybody's lost the feed in Toronto because of this power failure. And so, Kerry Wilson, we're going to have to fill for a little bit here as we wait things to get back to normal in Toronto. Of course, they had this situation twice in the playoffs, right? In Boston, with Edmonton playing in the Stanley Cup playoffs there. Hopefully, they won't have to cancel the game. But right now, a quick comment on the first few minutes of the game. What are your thoughts about how the Jets have played?
Well, I think for starters, just on that last penalty killing by Winnipeg, they did a very good job. I'm not sure if it was so much Winnipeg's penalty killing prowess as maybe the Leafs just didn't really come out of the gate strong. They really didn't generate much at all on that power play, and you know, give the Jets credit.
Okay, as you may have heard in Kurt Kielbach's opening comments to Gord Stellick about the team heading south, what he also meant, not just the players going to the All-Star game, but the players who are heading to Phoenix to check out the new home of the Jets for next season. What kind of effect may that have on the team and their psyche?
Well, I think that there's definitely a mental thing there that the coach has got to be worried about. When you got the All-Star break coming up, minds start to slip a little bit, and it's, you know, the coach has got to keep the players focused, and especially with what's going on the minds of the Jets right now. A lot of things they're talking about, moving down to Phoenix, sending the families down there to start looking at a little bit of real estate places where they'd like to live. So their mind does tend to wander a little bit, and it's very important that a player stays focused, especially right until that last game is over and done with, and then they can take their 3 or 4 days break, let their mind wander. But right now it's very important for them to stay focused and come in, finish this last game strong before the break.
And right now, if you're just joining us, the situation in Toronto, they've played about 4 minutes of the game. The Jets and the Maple Leafs have. They had a power failure, and we understand the power is back. We have our feet, so let's go back to Toronto. Kurt Keelback, Gord Stellick.
Everybody, there was some kind of a problem originating in Toronto, and that has been rectified. There's still no score in the hockey game. Dave Manson has just taken an interference penalty, and we're 6 minutes and 35 seconds into the opening period. So the Leafs get the second manpower advantage of the game. Gilmore is out with Gartner and Sundin. Here's Janssen from the blue line. A shot. Hababulin a save. And Stapleton comes up with a rebound. Puts it into the corner. Gartner goes after it there. Back to the point. Murphy. Over now to Janssen. His shot. Kicked out by Hababulin. It's knocked ahead. Gillen to Stapleton. He'll take his time and then just dumps it all the way down. Murphy with Gillen in pursuit. Takes it deep. Leaves it there for Janssen.
No secret that Kenny Janssen, one of the more improved second-year defensemen, a big reason Larry Murphy as a defense partner.
Here's Gilmore, dumps it in. Hababulin has to play quickly. Sundin after him. It's sent back to the blue line. With it there, Murphy. Shot knocked down in front. And with it is Stapleton, who clears it away.
As we mentioned, went from a power failure right to a Maple Leaf power play. Dave Manson corralled ex-Winnipeg Jet Ty Domi in front of the goal. And the Leafs get their second power play, a minute 10 left in it.
Ella dumps it into the Jets on. Hogue puts it in front. Sundin backhand. Hababulin the save. It's in behind the net. Centered by Hogue. And again the save by Hababulin as he takes it off the stick of Mike Gartner.
Well, we talked about Mike Gartner just before the game, Kurt, and there it is, standing alone to the side of the net. He knows where to go to avoid the traffic, to get loose, and Benoit Hogue, who can play center and play wing, makes the feed out in front. Mike Gartner, big save by Hababulin. And Nikolai Hababulin has really been the talk in a lot of ways in the NHL as far as goalkeepers. You get some big names that you've heard about, other guys not as well known and just creep up on you. He and Felix Potvin's goals against average pretty identical. 2.88 for Potvin, 2.87 for Hababulin. And like you say, the Winnipeg Jets, a much better team when he's between the pipes.
Here's the shot by Gill, knocked down in front of the goal. Eastwood goes after it, and Drake gets there, dumps it all the way down. Potvin around on the boards. That goes to Allen. Allen works out towards center, gives to Momesso. Dumps it deep into the Jet zone. Shannon goes after it with Hogue. Hogue looks out in front, maintains possession, now gets it to Gill. Back it goes to Hogue. Momesso's in front. McIver comes up with a puck. Momesso moves in against him. Warner slips it back. Here's Hogue. In there for Warner. Warner tried to put it out. It was knocked away. And now Drake dumps it all the way down the ice. 17 seconds left in that penalty to Manson. No score in the hockey game. Warner puts it back into his own zone to Gill. Over now for Allen. The former Jet gets to center, drives it in. Going after it, Momesso. Off him all the way back to center. Gill has it, and that runs out the penalty to Dave Manson. Here's Captain Dave, or Chris King. Takes it down Dave for Winnipeg. King trying to move in front. Fires it wide. Craig missed it. Turcotte with it now for Winnipeg. Throws it in front. Gill tried to clear. Stopped by Newman. Dumped in Dave. After it quickly, Turcotte puts it out front. Hogue trying to spin away from the checking of Korolev. Gives to Gill. Turcotte in pursuit. Gill drops it off. And with it now is Allen. Penalty coming to the Leafs, so we'll have a first opportunity to view the Jet power play when we return.
You're
Your best shot at winning is always with Mr. Canada's Tour and Network during the Great Western Gold Rush. Take any scheduled trip between February 14th and May 29th, and you could be eligible to win gold, coins, and prize giveaways just by riding with the winners to Casino Regina. Just $79 to $119 per person. There's $2 million in prizes up for grabs, including the grand prize of 10 ounces of pure gold. Call today for complete details and to book your seat. The Great Western Gold Rush from Mr. Canada's Tour and Network. You're the Moose.
Play Safeway Score and Win. When the Jets score on CKND, you could win an IBM Aptiva multimedia computer, a GE Spacemaker 2 microwave oven, Dirt Devil's MVP and Dust Devil from Royal Appliance, or $300 in MasterCard Travelers checks from the Bank of Montreal. You could also win a trip or two to Mazatlan, Mexico, courtesy of Canadian Holidays, Canada's largest vacation company. Safeway's participating products, ABC laundry detergent, and Kleenex facial tissues. Score and win at Safeway, today's better way.
Well, it's been raining most of the last couple of days in Toronto, lots of fog, and as you are aware, probably there was a power failure a while ago, but the clock is back in gear. The shot clock is still out, but here's the penalty to Todd Gill.
Well, they put Chris King and company out there to create some havoc, and Todd Gill didn't like it, gave King a bit of a shot, and Dan Marawelli caught it. So the Jets go on their first power play of the game, the number 2 power play unit in the NHL.
Here's McIver with it now, gives it to Solani. Solani up front with Kachuk and Shemnov. McIver back with Newmanen. Solani back to McIver. McIver looks across for Newmanen. Kachuk's in front. Pass goes now to Shemnov. Shemnov takes a look. Takes his time, puts it in now for Kachuk. Kachuk back for Shemnov. Shemnov lets it go, saved by Potvin. Shemnov after it again. Trying to work in front, checked by Gilmore, and he clears it away.
Alexei Zhamnov playing a bit of rover there, moves all over the place. It's hard for the Leafs box to keep track of him, and that's why you got a pretty good shot away there.
Now Gilmore takes the puck deep into the Jet zone. Gilmore with McIver in pursuit, takes it in behind. Content to kill some time, surrounded by Jets. Gilmore still has it, knocks it away. Newman with Sundin on him, dropped it off to Zhamnov. 1:07 left in the man advantage for Winnipeg. A scoreless hockey game, the midway mark of the first period. Here's McIver to Newmanen. Drives it in. Kachuk leaves it there for Shemnov. Shemnov puts it through the crease. Puck goes Holloway back to center, and going to get it is Newmanen. Gives to McIver. Ahead now for Kachuk. Kachuk gains the line. Looks outside. Spot Shemnov back to Solani. Shot. Potvin kicks it out. Rebound. And it's grabbed by Sundin. He's away quickly down the left side. Sundin cuts in front. He scored. Short-handed.
Short-handed goal by Matt Sundin. It all starts the big save at one end of the rink by Felix Potvin. Made an outstanding pad save. The Leafs are able to come back all the way and put it in. Here's Matt Sundin coming in, the little deep. One shot, able to get his own rebound. Norm McIver didn't play the man. Take a look here. McIver's got to take the man. He's caught watching the puck, and Matt Sundin is able to put it behind Nikolai Habibulin. But here's where it all began in the Toronto Maple Leaf zone. Felix Potvin, just an outstanding save. Watching the leg drag out there on Timo Solani. That kicked it up. The Leafs got the momentum going the other way. Smart play by Jamie McCowan, who put it clear. And Matt Sundin scores the shorthanded goal for the Leafs.
1-0 Toronto. Sundin has now scored in 6 consecutive games. Scores from McCowan, shorthanded at 10:35.
4th shorthanded goal of the season for Matt Sundin, and 8th for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Still 29 seconds left in that penalty to Todd Gill. Olczyk comes out on the power play now with Korolev and Stapleton. Finley is back with Manson. Manson has it for Winnipeg. Now starts out. Works to center ice. Flips it into the corner. Korolev goes after it. So does Yellett. Yellett tries to clear. Stopped at the point by Finley. Finley gives to Olczyk. Olczyk lets it go. That goes off Yellett. Korolev in behind. Goes to the corner after it. Korolev looks back to Stapleton. Stapleton out to Manson. The penalty is over. Manson to Finley. Finley puts it across in front. Here's a backhand by Korolev. Another shot. Potvin the save. Olczyk was knocked down in front by Gilmore. And there'll be another penalty to the Leafs.
And it's time to select tonight the Lucky Valves Toronto Maple Leafs Trivia
1-0 Toronto leads. The Jets go on the power play for a second time.
Winter's here, and it's time to ask yourself, does your battery have the juice to get you started when you really need it? Do your tires have the traction you need for slippery situations? Only Canadian Tire offers MotoMaster batteries and tires to get you going in any situation. All at the everyday low prices you'd expect from Canada's automotive store. Canadian Tire. There's a lot more for your car for a lot less.
Great-grandparents of a Sunfire driver. Pontiac Sunfire, built for drivers.
Doug Gilmour in the penalty box. Jets again with a man advantage. The last time it backfired on them. The lone goal scored by Matt Sundin, shorthanded. McIver is back with Newman. Shamnoff up front with Tkachuk and Solani.
Give the Jets credit back, though. That's a deflating goal, the shorthanded goal. They come right back, some havoc around the Leaf net, and Doug Gilmour interferes with Eddie Olczyk.
Puck is dumped into the Leaf zone. Sent off the glass. Knocked down. It's picked up now by Hogue. Hogue drops it off to Sundin. Back to Hogue. Hogue back to Sundin. A shot. That goes off Newman, and it's a souvenir.
We're talking earlier about the fact that it's damp here. It's been foggy, and that was the power failure earlier and caused a bit of a shortage here at Maple Leaf Gardens. Now, Norm McIver talked about him at the start of the game, along with Tempo Newman. He got a pretty good 1-2 punch with the Winnipeg Jet power play, and I think he's going to want to redeem himself because he was victimized by Matt Sundin earlier on that play, and that's the downside of having not a guy with strong defensive skills up front. The one-way players, they'll get you some points, but if they're going one-on-one against the likes of a Matt Sundin, they're in trouble.
Well, the Jets have scored at least one power play goal in each of the games they played since they acquired McIver. McIver with it now in the corner. Sends it ahead for Solani. Solani back. In fact, the Jets 15 for 36 on the power play in the new year. Here's Tkachuk. Gets up across the line, trying to work in front. Unable to get a shot away. Now Newman in with it. Over to Solani. Poked away. A diving effort by Hendrickson. Here's McIver. Gives it to Solani. Back to McIver. Over now Newman. Back Solani. Shot to save by Potvin. Then the rebound is cleared away and out of play by Yuskevich.
We want to make it perfectly clear. You'll find guaranteed low prices at your Canadian Tire store every day. If you find a better price anywhere, we'll match it. Guaranteed.
Well, Pat Burns, the Toronto Maple Leaf coach, and also rumored as possibly the coach for Team Canada in the upcoming World Cup. And I'll tell you, Kurt, he gets a lot of credit for his coaching abilities. He's just as proud as the fashion compliments he gets, though. I think he likes that as much. He was voted in one newspaper about a month ago, top coach and best dressed coach, and I don't know which one he liked better.
Here's Allen, takes it in behind his goal. Sends it off the glass. That's kept in at the blue line by Finlay. Dumped for Korolev. Tried it for Olczyk. Olczyk puts it in Dave Stapleton. Into the corner for Olczyk. 43 seconds left in the man advantage for Winnipeg. Olczyk slides it over to Stapleton. Back to the point. Manson. Manson lets it go. But it was offside. Then they're talking about both him and Mike Keenan, but it seems to be the players would rather have Pat Burns.
Well, Mike Keenan has the track record, too, and Pat Burns was an assistant to Mike Keenan in the 1991 Canada Cup. Pat Burns also an assistant to Bert Templeton, that infamous brawl with the Canadian junior team overseas, so he certainly had his share of international experience. I think he'd like this. This would be a terrific challenge for him. I mentioned the suits. He's also had a lot of fashion statements. He had the Fu Manchu, the beard. Now he's down to the mustache, and he's got the glasses on. You got to stay posted every week, Kurt, if you want the Pat Burns fashion update.
Here's Finlay back in his own zone. Now 25 seconds left in the penalty to Doug Gilmour as Manson tried it for Korolev. It goes off him. Ellen goes back to get it with Korolev. Now it's Sundin. He flips it high, and that goes all the way down the ice. Back forward is Manson. 10 seconds left in the penalty. 1-0 Toronto leads on a goal by Matt Sundin. Here's Manson's lead pass for Olczyk. He throws it across Stapleton in deep. Stapleton trying to return it. Gill picked it up. Gilmore is out of the box. Manson has it. Gives it to Korolev in front. Redirected wide by Olczyk. Here's Stapleton to Korolev. A shot. And then at the side of the net. Korolev with it again. Trying to work his way free of McCowan. Takes it behind the net. Korolev shot. Stapleton backhand. Then hit a crowd in front. It goes to the corner. And out of the leaves, Momesso trying to pull away. Did dump it out to center ice. Grabbed by Gartner over 2 lines.
Well, we just saw why Doug Gilmour won the Selke Trophy as Defensive Player a couple years ago. Not only has he scored the points, he made a save, decided to give Felix Potvin a bit of a break there. All kinds of action around the Maple Leaf net. And that's the side of Doug Gilmour you don't see all the time, is how hard he works and how well he plays defensively. There he taught Gill with Felix Potvin. I think Dougie took that on the face a bit, but Felix Potvin getting all kinds of help from his teammates. They owe him one after the big save he made that they were able to turn around into the shorthanded goal by Matt Sundin. Doug Gilmour looking forward, Kurt, to not being at the All-Star game. He's going down for a well-deserved vacation. Now, Jets looking to equalize the game, and Igor Korolev just missed on one firing wide earlier.
Here's Yuskevich deep in his zone, flips it high. Newman has to go back for it. 6 minutes left in the opening period. 1-0 Toronto leads. Puck in the center ice area with it. McCowan, who fires it back in. Going to get it is Malgunas. Hendrickson after him. Puck goes to Newman. Pass out to center ice. Stop on McCowan. Puts it ahead. McKenzie dumps it down. McCowan goes after it. Gillen with an eye on him. McCowan starts away. Looks ahead now to Hendrickson. The rookie moves to center. Dumps it into the Jet corner. Hababulan gives it to Malgunas. Pass to Gillen. Flipped out to center ice. Ellett knocked it down. McKenzie goes after it. McKenzie leaves it along the boards, and it's taken away by Toronto. With it, Baumgartner dumps it in deep. And back for it, McIver. McIver for Manson. Manson looking ahead, trying to feed the pass through traffic to Korolev. It goes deep now for Ellett. Ellett gets it on the right side to Domi. Domi flips it across to Gill. Gill finds some room, works it out to center ice. Gains the Jet line. Had it knocked away, the Jets start back. Korolev can't quite reach it. Berg cuts him off. And now Gill goes back. Gill checked by Korolev, who's in a strong first period. Puck was in behind the net. Ellett trying to clear. Stopped there by Manson. And now Ellett has it. Ellett chased by Shamrock. Gets the puck into the middle to Hogue. Hogue gains the line, lets it go. Dropped aside and then covered up on by Hababulan as Berg continued right on through.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn to these.
At Vernos Auto Body, they know your car is more than just a car. It's one of your largest investments. And since you wouldn't let just anyone drive it, why would you let just anyone fix it? Vernos Auto Body has over 40 years experience utilizing only state-of-the-art equipment and the highest quality products. And now as a member of Auto Pro Collision, you can receive immediate financing through our National Auto Pro credit card to assist you in large repairs or simply help with your deductible. For your next auto body repair, trust all the work to Vernos Auto Body, setting the standard in auto body repair.
When you buy a mutual fund, aren't you really investing in a professional money manager? Well, at CI Mutual Funds, we've got the right people in the right places. Like Sean Chan, managing our Asia-Pacific portfolios. John Zechner, specializing in Canadian securities. And Bill Priest, advising CI's international funds. Each highly respected, well-connected, and performance-driven. Your financial advisor knows CI's money managers. All you have to do is ask.
In the first intermission, Joe Piscucci will be speaking with Kerry Wilson. We'll also have a feature on the early 80s draft selections made by then Jet General Manager John Ferguson.
Not a bad way to start. 1981, we have first overall take Dale Hawerchuk. I think it's interesting. You look at the next year, 1982. In the 4th round, Dave Ellett selected by the Winnipeg Jets. Bob Asenza was a 4th round pick also in 1983. Did a pretty good job at the top and middle of the draft. Fred Olson, also a middle round pick in 1985.
Now the puck is dumped into the Jet corner. Both clubs at full strength. 4:40 left in the opening period. The Leafs with the only goal. Murphy dumps it out over center. Then goes back to the Jet line. And with it there, Finley for King. He dumps it in. After it goes Janssen in behind his net. Turcotte goes there too. It's sent around. Warner cut it off against Stapleton. Sundin digs it out. Puts it into the middle. And now gets it back again. Sundin over the jet line. Throws it out front. Wood had it knocked away by the only Shannon dressed tonight, Darrell. Now the puck in the corner. With it there is Wood. Wood in behind his goal. Wood. Now Warner picks it up, trying to wrap it around. Puck goes free. King knocks it onto center ice. And Janssen back into his zone to get it. Janssen on the left side for Warner. Warner into the middle for Wood. Wood takes it deep, lets it go. And now Newman around for Drake. Drake leaned into, puck goes back. It's dumped out in front, loose. Puck batted away from Wood by Hababulin, and here comes Solani in flight. Gains the line. Solani lets it go. Potvin to save. Sundin flips it out, and going back to get it is Newman.
Pace has picked up some pretty good end-to-end action the last couple of minutes.
Newman's pass for Solani went off him or by him. They're going to rule it's icing against the Winnipeg Jets.
Well, Todd Gill flips the puck to the linesman and will come down the Winnipeg zone for the face-off. But I'll tell you, Todd Warner, Kurt, the name included the infamous Wendell Clark-Matt Sundin trade, and he was a guy that Cliff Fletcher was adamant that Toronto received from Quebec in compensation. Landon Wilson was a prospect that went the other way, and Todd Warner getting his chance the last 7-8 games. Pat Burns said, you know what, you can't judge how a guy plays on the fourth line all the time, and certainly Terry Simpson would agree with that. You've got to give your young kids a chance to play on a big line. Meanwhile, Garth Butcher now has opened a sports bar in Toronto. He came in that trade. He got paid off 750 U.S. smackers, and he's running a sports bar. No one's picked him up, so he's enjoying life, retirement, and the financial part of it anyway.
Now the Jets, Malgunas gets it over to Drake. Drake gains the line. Solani in front. Drake takes a look, trying to feed it back. And Momesso managed to send it ring wide. Gilmore gives chase, so does Newman. Gilmore comes up with it, then he's checked by Newman. Gallant dumps it in. And going back is Malgunas. Gardner with an eye on him. Now Gunas turns the other way. Tried it for Solani. With old check. And Drake takes the pass. Now gains the line. Drop to Solani. Solani dumps it in wide. And going for it is Gardner. 2:40 left in the opening period. The only goal scored by the Leafs. Matt Sundin shorthanded. Gardner spins. Then is checked by Olczyk. Olczyk works it in. Looks back at McIver. Had it knocked away by Momesso. It goes for Solani behind the net. Solani looks at Olczyk. Still maintains possession. Solani trying to work in front. Shot rebound. Another shot. The save by Potvin. And now starting out is Momesso. Solani slow at getting up. Manson dumps it out to center ice. It's knocked back into the Jet zone, and with it is Manson again. Gets up to the line. Long shot. Hendrickson goes after it. Now it goes to McCowan. McCowan's pass to center ice. McIver boots it out to Shemnov at center. Shemnov gains the line to be checked by McCowan. It gives to Baumgartner. Over on the right side, here's Yaskevich. Moving it. His shot. That goes over top. That one went up high and out of play.
Trying to make sure no fan got hit by it. Timo Solani sitting at the end of the bench. He was knocked down by the Maple Leaf goal. Looked like he was hurt, but really just slow getting up and took his time skating the Jet bench. His helmet fell off. He's putting the Jofa back on now. Maybe just a bit frustrated they weren't able to put the puck in, but not being tended to by the trainers, and that certainly is good news for Winnipeg Jet fans. Mike Gardner has to give his teammate Sergio Momesso some credit for bailing him out of what could have been an awful giveaway, trying to be cute with the puck, and then the Jets are all over the Leafs in the Leaf zone, but not able to put it in. And Sergio Momesso, a guy looking to make some marks. If you can believe this, he's only scored in one of the last 29 games he's played. He scored 2 goals in a game against the LA Kings December 16th, and that's the only time in the last 29 games that Momesso's dressed that he has scored for the Maple Leafs.
And he's getting a glorious opportunity tonight playing on that line with Gardner and Gilmore, replacing Dave Andreychuk, who's out with thumb surgery, but should be back for the first game after the All-Star break.
Won't be able to hitchhike for a month.
Now the puck is flipped by Shannon. Out to center ice. Going to get it there is Eastwood. On the right side for Gillen. Gillen's shot knocked away. McCowan after it with McKenzie. Now 4 of them battle forward in the corner. Big McKenzie comes up with it. Knocks it behind the net for Gillen. Gillen throws it out in front. Hendrickson checked by Eastwood. Now Craig manages to clear it to center. Finley drives it right back in. Yaskevich gives to McCowan. Ahead now for Hendrickson. His pass to Baumgartner has got Craig with him. The pass too far for Craig. Shannon knocks it to center. Flipped back in by the Leafs, and with it is Finley. Finley sends it to Gillen. Gillen puts it high into the last minute of this opening period. 1-0 Toronto. Here comes Berg. Gains the jet line. A shot blocked by Newman. Now Kunis back for it. Now Kunis hit by Berg. Now Hogue back to the point. Ellen dumps it in. Newman knocks it down. Gives to Stapleton. He gives to King. King on the right side to Turcotte. Turcotte gets it over. Trying it for Stapleton. Following up is King. A shot. Saved by Potvin. The rebound goes all the way out. And with it now at center ice is Murphy. He flips it back. Now Kunis and Hogue after it. Now Berg trying to drag it through. It's taken by Stapleton. 21 seconds in a period. Mike Stapleton to center ice as King breaks to the goal. Long shot. And they rule that King was in too quickly offside.
Well, Chris King charging, trying to get the rebound, and was caught on the offside. The one thing we'll see in the second and third period too, Kurt, is you got the muscle of Chris King, but also the speed of this Jet team, Solani, Jamnoff, and company, and that's where the Maple Leafs can have some trouble. The blue line can be a bit slow. It's a veteran blue line, but you've got speed like that going, and that's tough to take up to. Now, Ty Domi, put him on a line with Bill Berg, and you've got one of the all-annoying lines in the NHL, as Mike Stapleton could attest to. Just a bit of a whack there on the ankle. Let you know I'm right behind you. Of course, Ty Domi teammates with a lot of these guys about a year ago at this very time.
Here's McIver. Drives it back into the Leafs zone. Murphy goes for it there. Approached by Tkachuk. It's flipped high to center. And that's over two lines to Benoit Hogue. You know, you talk about the strength of the blue line on the Leafs and the strength of the forwards on the Jets. And a lot of talk that both these clubs looking to make trades. The Jets dealing a forward. The Leafs a defenseman.
Well, good news, too. Timo Solani, who I don't think will be dealt by the Winnipeg Jets, back on the ice for them. But as the trading deadline heats up, and these two teams did make a trade with each other last year, Ty Domi coming over from Mike Eastwood in the third-round draft pick. And the Leafs on defense, the first game of the season against the Pittsburgh Penguins, boy, Jaromir Jagr and company just ate Larry Murphy and everybody else up with that type of speed. And that's something the Leafs are wary of if they want to move up to the next level. And, of course, Winnipeg looking to upgrade their team, particularly on defense, isn't everybody.
9.5 seconds left in the face-off in the Leafs zone. The Jets send out the big three up front. Jamnoff, Solani, and Tkachuk. Jamnoff wins it to McIver to Manson. Shot. Potvin kicks it out. In with it is Berg. He flipped it out to center. Manson gets it a hit for Solani and then runs out. Period number one. Tkachuk and Berg had a little incident. And that draws a crowd, including Tahir Domi.
Well, Keith Tkachuk gave Bill Berg a bit of a shot in front of Dan Marawelli. I don't think he's going to call any penalties, so nothing's going to materialize from there. But really, it came down to a couple of big saves, particularly by Felix Potvin. Here's the hit by Tkachuk. Notice Mr. Berg's elbow up a bit high. I think Keith Tkachuk noticed that, too. He said, yeah, your elbow's a bit high. Here's the left. I think Dan Marawelli's saying tit for tat, so we'll either have them even strength or one man short each. But pretty entertaining first period. Some big saves, but a shorthanded goal by Matt Sundin, the difference.
So coming up next, we'll hear from Joe Piscucci in conversation with Jerry Wilson. The score after one period is the Leafs 1 and the Jets 0.
Intercepted by Chris King against Carpenter. Score! Chris King rips one as Bridger.
You've been tried by the tide, you've been tested by rain. I'll take you at your word, 'cause you are what you claim. There's a story to be told, and it's all there in your name. Tried, tested, and true. I know that you'll always come through. Tried, tested, and true.
Firm
flat stomach doesn't always come naturally. We can all use some help. Introducing the Ab Toner, a portable device designed to tone, trim, and strengthen your stomach muscles. Easy to use. Slip in your toes, adjust strap to right length, and place bar over your knees. You're now locked into position, targeting only your stomach muscles. Watch this. Doing the crunch will strengthen and tone upper stomach muscles. Hands at your side, do the reverse crunch. You're now toning and strengthening the lower abdominal muscles. With Ab Toner, you're always locked in position, working only the stomach muscles. Do the oblique squeeze and watch those dreaded love handles disappear. Ab Toner, a must for your home, office, or when traveling. Use as directed. In 30 to 40 days, you'll lose inches off your waist, and we guarantee a firmer, flatter stomach. Ab Toner, complete with instructional video and direction booklet. Only $19.99 from K-Tel.
Available at Zellers, Kmart, Home Hardware, True Value, Co-op stores, and other major retailers.
Matt Sundin's fourth shorthanded goal of the season has the Maple Leafs out in front of the Winnipeg Jets 1-0 after 20 minutes of play at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. And Kerry Wilson, even though the Jets are down by 1 goal, that was not a bad opening 20 minutes for them.
It wasn't. They started a little bit slow, but they killed off the first penalty of the Leafs very well, and then it led right into them generating a little bit more offense for themselves. But, you know, an unfortunate little mishap, a little miscommunication maybe on the Leafs' first goal.
Yeah, Norm McIver victimized by Matt Sundin, but I guess McIver never figuring the puck was going to come right back after the save by Happy Boolin between his legs.
Yeah, just one of those unfortunate things. Matt Sundin, a very good hockey player, one-on-one. What probably Carlisle will be telling Norm McIver on this play is that he ended up opening the gap a little bit too much. That you've got to close that gap. Norm's got to stand up on Matt's a little bit closer. That it wasn't such a bad thing that Matt Sundin got the first shot away, but after that he shouldn't have gotten the second. The puck came right back to him. Those things happen, but had Norm closed the gap a little bit, Matts wouldn't have had as much of a chance to get good wood on and get a shot away that second one and through Happy Boolin's pads.
The Jets almost came back to tie the score immediately. Good work by the second power play unit as they put a lot of pressure. Olczyk, Stapleton, and Korolev.
They did a fantastic job. This is their second power play unit, but you see them coming on, and they're really putting on a flurry here. And the most important aspect that you see here is they're taking the shots, but they're jumping on the rebounds. You see Korolev, he was down on one knee, almost turned around and got the puck back. Works very hard along the boards, and they continue to create opportunities for themselves, taking everything to the net. Again, you see a rebound. Stapleton jumps on it, but Stapleton's right there for the rebound again, outworking the Leafs, getting these loose pucks and creating scoring opportunities for themselves. That's what the Jets have got to continue to do, whether it's on power play or on regular 5-on-5. They've got to see more of that.
Yeah, and that hard work by that line carried on for the Jets for the rest of that period. I think they got to get a little more traffic in front of Felix Potvin.
Well, I think exactly. Keep pushing things at the net, getting in his face, maybe getting him off his game a bit. They've been doing that. We saw that on that last power play flurry. They got to do more than that. And if they can do that, I think you'll see a few more goals generated in the second period.
All right, thank you very much, Kerry Wilson. Coming up next on our Molson Jets hockey telecast, we'll go between periods. Check out the draft record of one-time Jets general manager John Ferguson. The Leafs lead the Jets 1-0 after 1 in Toronto.
Every year in Manitoba, there is approximately 3,000 collisions due to people disobeying traffic control devices. I think people run amber lights because they're in a hurry. They are not willing to be patient and to obey the law, which is to, when you see an amber, you are to commence your stopping process. It's a very serious issue. It's something that we need to correct in this province in order to reduce the amount of fatals, injuries, and property damage. You have lots of time. Take it, drive carefully, and be road wise.
Okay, guys, let's take it again. I'm always pushing myself. I don't give up. I stick with it, no matter how long it takes. Okay, wait, hold it,
For people who won't quit, Extra's the gum with the fresh taste that won't quit.
It's these two right here. All right, let's take it from the solo. It's all a matter of time and patience.
Only Extra has our special time-release formula, so it keeps on tasting fresh.
As long as I want it to.
Sugar-free Extra. It's fresh taste that never quits.
What's the matter? Couldn't you sleep?
Did you think I wouldn't find out?
Is this about the ring I gave you? Listen, a cubic zirconia looks just like a real diamond. Is this about my time in prison?
You drank the last of the milk.
Hi, I'm Gerald Wilcox. As you may know, I play a little football here in Manitoba. I've realized to be the best at what you do, to be a true professional and winner, requires a lot of hard work and dedication. And a real competitive attitude sure doesn't hurt. You know who's got it, don't you?
You got it, Park Pontiac.
The difference is, you got it, the people at Park Pontiac.
Promotional consideration provided by...
Start your day with Delco's new Freedom 84 battery. It guarantees you 7 years of worry-free starts.
Well, this week we look back on the Jets and specifically those first few years in the NHL and the first-round draft selections of then General Manager John Ferguson. Now, we all make mistakes, and Fergie did in 1979, selecting Jimmy Mann. Next two players chosen, by the way, were Michel Goulet and Kevin Lowe. But Fergie bounced back, and his next 3 first-round selections are still playing in the NHL.
We're just really very, very happy we got David Babbage. You know, we wanted him before the end of the year, and we've been watching him continuously all year, and I'm totally elated right now. I'm really happy.
Are you maybe happier with the selection to Winnipeg rather than Montreal because of the defensemen they do have?
Well, I guess it goes both ways. You know, Montreal has such good defense, and you know, they're all really good. So I don't know if I'd get to play as much as I probably would in Winnipeg. But still, you know, Winnipeg will be a tough game to make, and so I hope I can just help them out a lot.
It was a long night. We didn't sleep much. There was no real hard trades made over Dale Howardchuk last night. We were talking mainly of our second choice, and there was no way I was going to trade him. If we ever had any thought of trading him at any time, it had to have been a premier goaltender included, but we just don't feel that any offer that was made to his brand was sufficient. It was mostly short-term. There was a situation where we do feel that we've got a real future star, and that's the way we're building our hockey club, because we've never traded our draft choices, and we're going to continue on that basis.
Are you anxious about coming to Winnipeg? Any thoughts about playing for a last-place team?
No. I'm so anxious to get there. It's unbelievable. I wish it was right around the corner, but you know, I'm going to work hard this summer, and I can't wait for it.
Ceilings, walls, floors. Fibro Contact, the new all-purpose mop from Atlantic Essentials. Fibro Contact reaches new heights in cleaning. The mop head comes off easily, uses less water, less detergent, and reattaches in no time. Its microfiber's cleaning power works perfectly on grease and tough stains, even in hard-to-reach spots. Ceilings, walls, and floors. The rotating head makes cleaning a snap. And it's machine washable. Fibro Contact for all your deep cleaning needs, for your own satisfaction.
Your Gold Eyes are back for another summer of exciting professional baseball action. Be in the stands as the Fish battle their Northern League opponents, including new teams, the Fargo Redhawks and Madison Black Wolf. Don't miss 1 minute of entertainment Gold Eye style with Goldie, special entertainment acts, and free giveaways. 44-game season tickets as low as $132. 7-game mini packs of our best games for just $21. This summer, catch Fish Fever.
There's only one way to beat winter in Manitoba. Four-wheel drive from Winnipeg Jeep Eagle.
The 96 Jeep Grand Cherokee is Canada's best all-terrain vehicle, combining safety, elegance, and 4x4 toughness. The Jeep Cherokee, still Manitoba's favorite four-wheel drive utility vehicle. And don't forget the Eagle Talon, the all-wheel drive sports car. Sure-footed traction in all conditions, plus the guaranteed lowest prices and lowest lease rates at Winnipeg Jeep Eagle, Western Canada's largest volume Jeep Eagle dealership. 1430 Ellis, just a slap shot from the arena.
These people aren't actors, because at Midtown Ford Service Department, you don't get actors, you get real people. Professionals who find out what's wrong and make it right. With expert Ford training and the Ford Star Satellite Information System and quality motorcraft parts, we drive ourselves to give you the service you expect at a price that won't surprise you. We may not be actors, but we sure know our parts and service. At Midtown Ford, we've got the right drive.
Hey, Miles, nice shot. You know where the best Super Bowl party in town is going to be? Boogie's. Tackle some of Boogie's world-famous ribs, some authentic Montreal smoked meat sandwiches, and much more. All for just $10 at both Boogie's locations.
Also win prizes include an autographed helmet from the Super Bowl champs. CKND will be broadcasting live, too.
Boogie's Super Bowl Bash, January 28th.
It's going to be a big hit.
Molson Jets Hockey on CKND is brought to you in part by MTS, Canadian Tire, Winnipeg Jeep Eagle, 1430 Ellis at Arena Road, and by McDonald's. Have you had your break today?
Going back to December 8th, 1993. But, you know, before that, this was an awful place for the Leafs to play at home against the Jets. The Jets had all kinds of luck ever since they came in back in 1988. And I remember once in 1980-81 season, as bad as the Jets were then on the road, they only won 2 road games all season, both right here in Maple Leaf Gardens.
They went 0 for America, but 2 for 2 for in Toronto that year.
Right in the city. And one of the wins here was the last game Joe Crozier coached as the coach of the Maple Leafs. Harold Ballard said after the game, if the Jets are going to beat you twice here, you're gone. And Mike Nicholic was the coach 2 days later when they took on the Philadelphia Flyers. So the Jets normally like coming to Maple Leaf Gardens, but as we say, the last 2 years, that hasn't been the case. They'll see if they can get things going here in the second period.
Well, coaches will tell you that they enjoy coming to Toronto because so many of the players are from here that motivation is no problem whatsoever. There's a huge demand for tickets from the players themselves, never quite enough to go around, and sometimes you get 50 to 60 people coming in support of one particular athlete. Here's Yushkevich, flips it high all the way down the ice, and back to get it is Manson. Manson puts it off the boards out to center. With it there is McCowan. Gives it to Yushkevich. He dumps it into the Jet zone. McIver goes after it. Gartner knocked it away. Now McIver in behind the net. Puck goes to the other corner. Picked up there by Gilmore. Gilmore puts it back. Momesso tied up by Manson. It goes to Gartner. Gartner shot, save rebound, and now it's Tkachuk. Moves out to center ice with it. He's got Jamnov with him. Jamnov missed the pass. Now picks it up, goes into the corner, puts it behind for Tkachuk, trying it for Korolev, and it's taken away by Gartner. Ahead to Momesso with Sundin. Momesso's long shot. Rebound. Sundin had it knocked away by Newman. Now Momesso behind for Gartner. It goes to Korolev. He gives to Manson. Manson's pass goes to Newman, and he gives to Olczyk. He pokes it through. Gill trying to clear. Newman had it, didn't know it. Now gets it back again. And then puts it into the player's box.
Timo Solani this time collided with one of his teammates. He's gone down a couple of times. Teppo Numminen, who's played well on the Jet blue line. I'm not sure. No, it was Keith Tkachuk and Timo Solani. That's some pretty high-priced talent going down in a heap there.
Timo Solani will be going to the All-Star game tomorrow while his teammates all go to check out the new digs in Phoenix. Led by Captain Chris King. And 3 Leafs will be going to the All-Star game.
Well, there were 2, Matt Sundin and Felix Potvin, and then Gary Bettman added Mike Gartner and Ron Francis as, I guess, the 2 designated for their long-standing service. They get to go, so Mike was going to be down there for Players Association meetings anyway. He is president of the NHLPA, so he might as well bring his skates.
Here's Olczyk. Well, Sundin comes up with it. Sundin puts it down now for Warner. Out front for Wood trying to crash through. Have a bull and a save. And play is whistled down. Randy Wood went hard to the net. The puck followed him, and he had an opportunity.
Well, the shortest direction straight ahead, and that's what Randy Wood did. And Eddie Olczyk had a bit of a grip on him. I don't know if enough, but Todd Warner makes the pass. Wood gets one shot. Now, Eddie Olczyk didn't get the stick. Wood got the rebound, but he was able to narrow what he could shoot at, and that's exactly how Sundin scored the first period. Got the first shot away, then got his own rebound, and Randy Wood almost duplicated that right there on a feed from Todd Warner.
Sundin against Olczyk. Sundin is outflanked by Wood and Warner. Olczyk with Solani and break. Now Newman comes up with a rebound from Havapulin. Looks on the right side for Solani. Solani chases it deep in behind the net. Solani throws it out in front. It's taken by Warner. Knocked it out. Now Gunas drives it back in. A little too high. It's out of play.
This one caught. That's a tough corner there where the goals are, and caught a fan in the corner. Doing a shot just went off, deflected off the glass. So the center will come back to the neutral's ice territory. I feel like Terry Simpson, you know, the job he's done. He's always been a respected hockey person. It must be a tough situation for him in Winnipeg this year with the team thinking ahead next year to Phoenix, and you've got to focus on what's going on the ice where there's been so many off-ice distractions.
Well, I think he thinks that's a bit of a cop-out, because one thing about this team, when they go in a unit, they go all together, they've got months to do it, so they're not allowing themselves, shouldn't allow themselves the luxury of any excuse.
Meanwhile, a pretty entertaining club. I imagine a few headaches some nights on defense, but a pretty entertaining offensive team.
Here's Janssen. Trying to flip it in, knocked down by Newman. Newman starts back 2-on-1 with Stapleton. Here's Newman and works it. He shot at the goal post. And now the Leafs come back. It's taken out by Janssen, gets it ahead now to Berg. He lets it go. Hababulan down as Domi looks for a loose puck. Teppo Newman hit the goal post.
What a great play, though. Teppo Newman created his own chance. Showing a little bit of Robbie Alomar like he's able to knock the puck down. Kenny Janssen didn't get it high enough. Quick react by Teppo Newman and comes in. He's got the 2-on-1. Plays Larry Murphy, decides to take the shot. And that was really a good shot to take. Went for the corner. You can see here, had it picked, but just caught the post. Not a lot of pick when you got Felix Potvin at goal.
Newman had got the long goal for the Jets last night in the 1-1 tie in Washington.
Maybe Teppo Newman could catch a tryout with the Winnipeg Goldeyes this summer, too. He like the Bo Jackson.
Janssen shot from the point, and that's covered up on by Nikolai Hababulan. What an impressive performer Hababulan has been. A team that is 3 games under 500. His record is 11-5, plus last night's tie.
And unlike some European goalkeepers, I remember Dominic Hasek, people can't get used to his unorthodox style. And of course, Yuri Surha was infamous for that. Hababulan has more of the stand-up style. Kenny Janssen, another European that's making a big impression on the Maple Leaf blue line. This is only his 2nd year, and you can see with a lot of players how long it takes for defensemen to grow into that position in the NHL. And Kenny Janssen, a big boost, playing with Larry Murphy. Alexei Zhamnov, another one of the great young talent in the NHL right now. Talking about Teppo Newman earlier, how is that Goldeye team in Winnipeg, the baseball club?
Well, they've had a pretty successful run. They've been going into their 3rd season. And, of course, in year 1, their maiden voyage, they won it all in the Northern League.
I've never heard of a ball player called Teppo. That would be the first.
Until he came along, I never heard of a hockey player named Teppo. But I imagine there's a bundle of them over in Finland. Here's Finley. Starts away for Winnipeg, trying to get out, stopped by Berg. Now following up is Shannon. Shannon's pass on the right side for Tkachuk. Tkachuk takes it deep. Tkachuk in behind the net now for Korolev. Sends it back. Finley moves in. Tried it for Korolev. Puck goes in behind the net, and with it there is Janssen. Janssen's pass for Domi. That goes all the way down, and back to get it is Jeff Finley. Finley behind his goal with Berg in pursuit. Now slides it ahead to Korolev. He gives to Shamnov with Tkachuk wide to his left. They crisscross. Shamnov dropped it off. Here's the drive by Shannon. It's taken in behind the net. Shamnov trying to work it in front. Now Korolev to Tkachuk. It goes to Korolev to Shamnov. Back now to McIver. Here's the shot. He scored. Tkachuk deflects it in front. It's 1-1.
Great work by the Winnipeg Jets. They've worked hard to come back to even things up. All kinds of pressure. They worked the puck back to the point, created some traffic in front of the Leafs net, and Keith Tkachuk is the player that deflects the shot and ties it up 1-1. Good deke and the feed back to the point, and now the traffic in front of Felix Potvin, and Keith Tkachuk breaks away from Murphy, and Potvin just got a stick on it. Potvin couldn't see it. It was redirected. That's a lot of size to try to move, and he's got the excellent hand-eye control and ties the game.
Number 44, for Keith Tkachuk, his 8th goal in the last 6 games. Now the Leafs come back. Here's a shot knocked away by Hababulan. And Solani gives it to Olczyk. Drake it is on the left side. Drake looks in front. Knocked away by Potvin. Baumgartner trying to get out. Stop on McIver. McIver at center ice. Puck goes back to Baumgartner. Gets over the line. Dropped it out. Here's the drive by Henriksen. Rebound. Poked in wide by Craig. 1-1 the score. It's dumped out to center and beyond. Solani trying to beat McCowan to it. Potvin comes out. Gives to Yaskevich. His pass on the right side to Craig. Craig approached by Olczyk. Now Baumgartner grabs it. Dumps it in deep. And McIver goes back. Baumgartner goes after him. It's behind the net to Manson. Lead pass to Drake. Rink wide now. Here's Solani. Dumps it in. Goes for the change. And back to get it is Dmitry Yaskevich. Nearing the 4-minute mark of the 2nd period. The score is tied 1-1. Gilmore puts it in deep. Newman goes back to get it for Winnipeg. Newman trying to fight off Momesso. Got it to Eastwood. It's behind the Jet goal, and after it again, Newman to Malgunas. Ahead for Gillen. Caught up in traffic. It's dumped back in by Gill. Kicked at Gardner. Had it knocked away, and Eastwood starts back for Winnipeg. Pass for Gillen. That's broken up by Gill. Following up now, Kunis. He drives it in, and with it is Helen. To Gill, approached by McKenzie. Gill drops for his mate Allen. Allen approached by Gillen. Now Eastwood. Backhand knocked down by Gill. Around for Momesso. He lets it go by, and that'll go the distance, but will not be icing.
Norm McIver has to be happy. He picked up 1 assist on Kachuk's goal, so redeems himself for getting caught on the Matt Sundin shorthanded marker.
Puck is loose and the Jets on. Kachuk grounded for Malkunas. He moves it out to center ice. Looks back to Kachuk. Dumps it in. Allen. Around now for Warner. Stopped at the point. McIver. Cleared back out by Warner to Sundin. Sends it ahead. And with it for Winnipeg is Manson. Back out over center. Gill has to go back for it. Jamnov and Kachuk up front for Winnipeg as Gill tried it for Sundin. Hit one off his stick all the way back. And deep for it is Dave Manson. 1-1 the score. Shots are 18-17 Toronto. Sundin trying to center it. It goes to Kachuk to Manson. Manson moves it out. Gives it to Korolev. Back to McIver. Shot. And it went over top. Now Manson. Got it for Korolev. Knocked loose. Korolev gets it again.
Boy, the Jets really have it going, Kurt, and they're moving the defensemen in. Both we're seeing Numanen and also McIver jumping in on the play.
Here's Shamnov with it. Shamnov drives it in behind the net for Kachuk. Korolev is in front. Kachuk trying to feed it in front. Stopped by Gill. Now it goes to Shannon. Shannon in deep. Kachuk gets it to Korolev. Korolev works with it. Korolev still has it. Gets it over. Here's the shot. And that went over top by Fidley. The Leafs would trying to break free. He's checked. And again, the Jets bring it back. Korolev for Drake. Dumped it in. McCowan gives it to Yuskevich. 6:20 gone in the second period, too. It's a 1-1 hockey game, and the pass over 2 lines is offside.
Today's world of beers, Molson Dries in a world all its own.
Keith Kachuk's 26th goal of the year, tied at 1-1 here in a second, and we have a winner in our Safeway Score and Win contest. Roy Odger of Winnipeg entered Score and Win at Safeway. Attached a label from Campbell's Cooking and Broth Soups. Congratulations, Roy. You won a GE Spacemaker 2 microwave oven. Now the puck is at the Jet line. Olczyk trying to flip it through. Puck goes out. Shannon knocks it back. It's at center, driven in by Janssen. Ababulin out of his goal, sends it ahead. Domi now knocks it in behind. Shannon over for Drake. Drake dropped it off. Pass for Olczyk. Olczyk looks for Solani. Here's the pass to Solani. Works, lets it go. And the save by Potvin. Rebound is taken by Janssen. Can't get it by Shannon. Shannon moving in. Puts it in front. Murphy knocked it away. Solani behind for Olczyk. Hacks at Janssen. Leaves the puck there for Drake. Drake trying to center it. Domi comes up with it. The Jets have been all over the Leafs ever since they tied the score. Now the Leafs come back with a 2-on-1. Berg gets it over to Hogue. Hogue moving in. Hogue takes it right in behind. Didn't shoot. Now in front. Murphy shot. And it's covered up on by Hababulin. His old friend Ty Domi raises havoc in front. Well, a week from today, the Winnipeg Jets beat the St. Louis Blues. That's our next telecast here on CKND. And the next action for the Winnipeg Jets immediately following the All-Star game.
Well, some action after the whistle. Ty Domi was corralled by about 4 Jets. blindly, he just went out the first one he could. It was his teammate in two cities, New York and Winnipeg, Eddie Olczyk. Daryl Shannon, though, was the first guy that was exchanging blows with Ty Domi. And I mentioned Newman and McIver. You got to give Daryl Shannon a lot of credit. Jumping in the play, he got an assist on that goal by Keith Tkachuk also. It reminds me about the best he played was 1988-89 with the Leafs when he came up the second half of the season. Played in Newmarket in the first half. Seemed to have a lot of confidence the last 20 games, Kurt. Then after that, seemed to be up and down, whether it was Toronto, was in the American League for a long time, and really seems to have come into his own.
Now, it's similar to what's happened to him in Winnipeg. Last year, he appeared to be the most underrated of defensemen, and this year he has struggled somewhat. In fact, has sat out a few games, but now the Jets have been sitting Darren Quint, in fact, who had the last couple, and Stu Malgunas has been into the lineup, so doing a little juggling and trying to use the depth, what depth there is, to advantage.
And a large Shannon entourage here tonight just outside Barrie, Ontario.
Puck is taken in behind the Jet net. Now Stapleton approached by Gartner. Gartner comes up with a puck, takes it in behind the net. Gartner's shot. Navapula knocks it aside for Newmanen. It goes to Stapleton. Stapleton gets it over to Newmanen. He gives it to Finley. Finley works it to center ice to Turcotte. Turcotte with Stapleton dumps it in. Potvin leaves it behind the net for Gartner. 1-1 the score, and the net has been dislodged. Nearing the 8-minute mark of the second period from Toronto.
Ceilings, walls, floors. Fibro Contact, the new all-purpose mop from Atlantic Essentials. Fibro Contact reaches new heights in cleaning. The mop head comes off easily, uses less water, less detergent, and reattaches in no time. Its microfiber's cleaning power works perfectly on grease and tough stains, even in hard-to-reach spots. Ceilings, walls, and floors. The rotating head makes cleaning a snap. And it's machine washable. Fibro Contact for all your deep cleaning needs, for your own satisfaction.
Play Safeway Score and Win. When the Jets score on CKND, you could win a set of quality appliances from Tefal, a 20-piece set of Mikasa fine china in the Currents pattern, a Gold Star Start Touch 2 VCR, or a Texas Instruments personal organizer. You could also win a trip for two to Mazatlan, Mexico, courtesy of Canadian Holidays, Canada's largest vacation company. Safeway's participating products, McCain drinking boxes, and Chef Boyardee canned pastas. Score and win at Safeway, today's better way.
Well, on Sunday, the 28th of January, that's a week from Sunday, CKND is where you'll find at Super Bowl 30. Be sure to join Joe Pascucci, Darren Millard, and Keith McMahon as they broadcast live from Boogie's Sports Restaurant and Bar for CKND Sports Line's Super Bowl Party of the Year. Quickly, Pittsburgh or Dallas, George?
Dallas Cowboys. I was there in 1979, the one Super Bowl I've been to, and they played two of the best games ever when they were in the Super Bowls. I hope it's a close one. Should be a lot of fun at Boogie. Sounds like a fun place.
Here's Hallett in a 4-on-4 situation. Now sends it ahead for Gartner. Gartner moves out to center ice with Gilmore. Gartner gains the line. Back for Gilmore. Trying to work by Manson. Puts it behind the net. Sends it to the corner. Hallett moves in from the point. Now Manson for Tkachuk. It goes to Manson. Behind his goal. Domi and Olczyk each have just over a minute left to serve in those penalties. Here's Manson. Gives it to Shamnov. Back to Manson. He gives to McIver. Off the stick of Shamnov. It rolls in deep. Potvin trying to clear. Gilmore and Tkachuk battle for it. McCowan joins in. So does Shamnov. And it goes to Ellen. Ellen one-hands it to Gartner. Gartner on the fly at center ice. Trying to split. Stopped by McIver. McIver looks for room in the middle. Now gives it to Shamnov. Shamnov gains the line with King. Shamnov shot. It went off McCowan away. Bounced right in front. And Ellen has it. Dumped it out to center. Back is Newmanen. Scattered by Sundin. Newmanen now finds room on the left wing. Goes with King. Gives to King. Back for Newmanen. Newmanen breaking to the goal. Was checked in Ellen. Or Sundin. Sundin moves out to center ice. Sundin gives it to Wood. Wood breaks to the net. Knocked away by Habibulin. Now Sundin deep. Sundin looking out in front for Gill. Knocked away by Newmanen. And Murphy has it. Olczyk and Domi step out of the penalty box. Here's Domi. Gives to the line. Stopped there by Newmanen.
He doesn't have his helmet on, Ty Domi. I think a lot of people say, would it make any difference? But you've got to sign a waiver to play without one.
Here's Sundin. Checked by Olczyk. He tried it for Eastwood. It goes to Domi. His pass picked up Olczyk just beyond the reach of Eastwood. And back forward is Gill. to Murphy. Murphy for Hendrickson. Hendrickson knocks it in deep. Baumgartner against McIver. Now Hendrickson out front. The shot by Craig didn't get much on it. Gill pinches in. Puts it behind the net. Craig is tripped up. There's going to be a penalty to the Winnipeg Jets. Dallas Drake, I believe.
Just caught the stick on Mike Craig. Might be in the cheapy variety. I think the Winnipeg Jets not all that wild about it because Dan Marawelli hasn't called a ton of penalties. There's been a good flow to the game. But Mike Craig going behind the Jet net. Just the stick came out. And I guess Norm McIver is going to go to the penalty box. Mike Craig trying to go behind. Puts the stick there.
Yeah, that's why they call him 3-hour Dan, isn't it?
Well, I guess so. I wouldn't be that excited about that kind of call. Again, it's that whole intangible, the flow of the game, and the human element, and it's what we like and what we hate at times, I guess, about hockey. And in that case, it's going to put the Maple Leafs back on the power play. The whistle is the ultimate ruler there. McIver to the penalty box. The Leafs go back on the power play. Really, the Jets, even though the Leafs are out shooting at 22-17, boy, the Jets have been skating and creating all kinds of havoc, controlled havoc in the Leafs zone, just not able to get the quality scoring chances on Felix Potvin. Now the Leafs back to the power play.
Gilmore with Hogue and Gartner up front. Janssen is back with Murphy. Gilmore wins the draw. Here's Murphy. Shot. Redirected wide. Stapleton goes after it in the corner. It's knocked behind the net. Picked up there by Manson. He's bought some room and dumps at the distance. 1-1 the score. The Leafs with the man advantage just past the midway mark of the second period. Here's Murphy. Gives to Gilmore. The captain of the Leafs gains the line. Puts it over to Hogue. He slides it in behind. Gilmore goes for it there. Trying to work it in front. Checked by Shannon. It goes back to the point. Here's Janssen to Murphy. Traffic in front. Murphy takes it deep. Puts it in behind to Gilmore. Gartner's in front. It goes to Murphy. Back to Hogue. Back to Murphy. Back now to Janssen. Shot. Rebound. Here's Hogue. Shot. Big save by Havabulin. Now it's picked up again by Janssen. Gartner still in front. Back to Hogue. Hogue back now to Janssen. His shot deflected just wide. Murphy at the point. Trying to dump it in. Was checked by Gillen. And Hogue has it now. 55 seconds left in the penalty to the Jets. McIver. 8:37 left in the second period. The score tied. Here's Gilmore. Gains the Jet line. Puts it in deep. Warner and Shannon after it. It goes to the other side. Eastwood. Behind his goal, Shannon. He's checked by Warner. Looking up for Gilmore. The pass was behind him. It goes all the way down the ice. And Potvin moves out to get to the puck before Eastwood. Here's Murphy. Lead pass. Sundin breaking in and goal. Sundin and the save by Havabulin. Here's Wood in the corner. 20 seconds in the penalty. Behind the net for Warner. Checked there by Manson. Eastwood can't clear. Hallett winds it up. Lets it go. Havabulin save. Rebound. And it was whistled down now. Warner and Manson. But there's going to be nothing further out of that.
Well, we were talking about the Super Bowl, and Larry Murphy threw the long bomb, threaded the needle to Matt Sundin, and what a great scoring chance, and some big flurry of saves by Nikolai Havabulin during this Leaf power play, the best power play the Leafs have had so far. After the whistle, there's the pass. What a beaut. And Murphy takes that extra half second to make sure he's clear of the blue line, so it's not an offside pass. Matt Sundin, some pretty good speed. Get him caught in a change. Tepper Numanum's coming in. May have distracted him a bit. Did get his stick, but he got a clear shot away. And Havabulin came up with a big save, but a great feed, and Matt Sundin showing his speed and able to take the pass. The pushing and shoving after Dave Manson and Todd Warner both will go off.
Canadian Tire has great prices on everything you need. Plus, earn Canadian Tire money with every cash purchase of merchandise. Great prices made better at Canadian Tire.
Stay tuned following the game for the Jim Gauthier Big Easy Play of the Game. Brought to you by the home of the Big Buy, Jim Gauthier, Chevrolet's Geo Cadillac. Now with it is Drake for Winnipeg. Slides it out to center. Stopped there by Murphy. 4 seconds left in the McIver penalty. Here's Sundin breaking it backhand. Off the shoulder of Havabulin. McIver's out of the penalty box. Here's the drive by Momesso. Now going after it is Numanen. Tried it for Drake by him. Stopped by Murphy at center. He's checked by Eastwood. Eastwood takes it deep. Drake, the follower. Here's Drake's drive. And that went on the shoulder of Potvin. Drake goes after it again.
Most of the Leafs thought it was out of the building. It was still on the ice surface.
But now there's going to be a penalty. We'll have the details in just a moment.
Our home is an eatery, Laundrorama, Sportsplex, all under one roof. It's the same as St. Vital Center. It's all right there. Or what you need when you need it place.
Time for a new glove, Mom.
Well, let's go.
Let yourself go.
Walt Disney's World on Ice Beauty and the Beast trivia. Name the character who wants to marry Belle. Answer any 2 trivia questions, then drop off your entry at the Beauty and the Beast barrel at St. Vital Center for your chance to win tickets courtesy of CKND Kids TV and St. Vital Center.
Sportsline is the place to be for the best sports coverage every night at 11, right here on CKND Winnipeg TV. Of course, we have all the highlights every night, as well as detailed coverage of the local sports scene. That includes the Safeway Select Provincial Men's Curling Championship coming up next month in Brandon. We're going to be all over that story.
You could be our guest here in Brandon that week. Win tickets and free accommodation here at the Trails West Motor Inn. Watch Sportsline for details on how to enter.
Boy, this sports announcer stuff is tough work, isn't it, girls?
To Sportsline.
Hi, Joe.
Well, Matt Sundin has been a prominent performer tonight. He scored the lone goal for Toronto shorthanded. He's had a breakaway. He had 5 shots in the first period. He's had more in the second. And now he's in the penalty box.
A little bit of a tug on Igor Korolev. And Dan Marawelli detected it. It seemed like the puck was on a play. There was no infield fly rule, though, so they kept going. I think that confused some of the players. Double whammy for the Leafs now, though. Not only are they a man short, but one of their better penalty killers with 4 shorthanded goals, and their only goal tonight shorthanded. Matt Sundin is in the box.
So the Jets, Tkachuk, Solani, Shamnov, Numanen and McIver. The power play, McIver to Numanen. His shot, the save, rebound. Berg knocks it free. Puck goes low. Numanen had it knocked away by a sliding Doug Gilmour. Back forward is Solani. 1-1 the score. Into the man advantage. Here's Shamnov. McIver. Numanen. Tkachuk gains the line. Works it in. Looks back. Slides it behind. Going for it, Shamnov. Against Yuskevich. Shamnov kicks at it. It goes to Tkachuk to Numanen. Numanen's pass across to Solani. Solani over to McIver. Tkachuk in front. The shot. It went between the feet of Tkachuk. Potvin made the save. McIver to Solani. Back for Numanen. The pass was wide of him. And Numanen retreats to center.
Well, just as the Jets scored their only goal, put Keith Tkachuk in front of the net and hammer them from the point, and that's what they're trying to do.
Here's Numanen. Puts it behind the net. Now Yuskevich and Tkachuk. Puck seems to disappear now. Tkachuk gets it back again. And it's dumped all the way down the ice by the Leafs. 49 seconds. The Jets will change up their power play. McIver behind his goal. Finley's out. Korolev. Solani remains out there. And now Olczyk. Here comes McIver. Gets it to Finley. Finley kicks at it deep. Leaves it now for Olczyk. Olczyk is checked. It's dumped out to center. And with it is Shannon.
Eddie Olczyk taking Keith Tkachuk's role. He did pretty well at that when Tkachuk was out, standing in front of the net, knowing where to position himself and taking the hacking and whacking.
Allen trying to clear. It goes to the blue line. Kept in. Korolev. Shannon. In behind the net. 10 seconds left on the man advantage for Winnipeg. The Leafs clear it. And Finley backpedals. Then runs out the penalty to Matt Sundin. So the score remains 1-1. 5:18 left in the second period. Korolev looks for Rowe. Trying to barge through Allen. Gets to the corner. Allen wraps him up. Hogue is there along with Stapleton. Now it's dug out by Korolev. Back for Olczyk. Puts it to an open corner. And with it there is Craig. Craig's pass goes to Hogue. Right side, Sundin. He stops, looks for a trailer, finds Hogue moving in. Hogue back to Gill. Gill in front. Can't get a good shot away. Now Craig with it. Mike Craig centers, and it's taken by Teppo Numanen. 3-on-2, the Jets at center ice. The pass to Stapleton, tried to drop it back. Numanen knocked it free, and now the Leafs dump it all the way down. Back is Malgunas. Malgunas trying to tie it up. He was unsuccessful. He and Craig battle for it. Olczyk manages to clear, and Janssen goes back to get it.
Well, some pretty good pressure by the Jets, but they didn't get the quality shots they wanted on Felix Potvin on that power play.
Here's Craig. Got it for Hendrickson. Broken up by the reliable Teppo Numminen. And he dumps it all the way down. After it quickly as Eastwood takes off the icing. Eastwood against Murphy. Slides it up the boards. And then the Leafs clear it away. Back to get it is McIver. That was dangerous. McIver going in quickly, and the puck right in front of the corner of his own net.
A firm, flat stomach doesn't always come naturally. We can all use some help. Introducing the Ab Toner, a portable device designed to tone, trim, and strengthen your stomach muscles. Easy to use. Slip in your toes, adjust strap to right length, and place bar over your knees. You're now locked into position, targeting only your stomach muscles. Watch this. Doing the crunch will strengthen and tone upper stomach muscles. Hands at your side, do the reverse crunch. You're now toning and strengthening the lower abdominal muscles. With Ab Toner, you're always locked in position, working only the stomach muscles. Do the oblique squeeze and watch those dreaded love handles disappear. Ab Toner, a must for your home, office, or when traveling. Use as directed. In 30 to 40 days, you'll lose inches off your waist, and we guarantee a firmer, flatter stomach. Ab Toner, complete with instructional video and direction booklet. Only $19.99 from K-Tel.
Available at Zellers, Kmart, Home Hardware, True Value, Co-op stores, and other major retailers.
Upcoming intermission, we'll again hear the analysis of Kerry Wilson in conversation with Joe Pascucci. We'll have some Dirt Devil trivia, and Barry Burns will be standing by with a Hughes line updates. 4 minutes and 4 seconds left in the second period. Toronto and Winnipeg tied 1-1.
You know, they don't keep such statistics, but the only time I ever remember the Leafs scoring a shorthanded goal when they were 2 men short was against the Winnipeg Jets in 1980. Darryl Sittler did it. Imagine that, a 2-man disadvantage, and Darryl Sittler scored against a very dispirited Jets team, that particular shift. And that's not a record they keep in the NHL, because they checked right after. I phoned Ron Andrews that night if it had ever been done before. I've heard it been done once or twice since.
I remember Pittsburgh doing it against Winnipeg.
That's right. And that's the only time I remember, about 16 years ago.
Errol Lemieux and Warren Young, I believe, both scored. Now Turcotte dumps it in. It's in behind the net. Janssen trying to clear. Stopped there by King. It goes to Domi. Domi against King. Now Janssen goes back to get it. In the corner. Janssen starts away. Gets it to Domi. Domi trying to drive it in. Abapulin sends it around. Now it goes free. Picked up by Manson. Manson is bumped by Berg. McCowan had his pass go off the linesman, gets it back again. Now King barges, takes the puck, puts it in front. Corliss shot, and that one off Yaskevich bounces in front and holds to Domi. Good sliding play by Yaskevich. Here's Numminen moving in. Numminen more offensive tonight. Trying to feed it across. Corliss. It goes out to center, and with it is Numminen.
Great anticipation first by Chris King barging in there, and then Teppo Numminen blocking the pass down.
Kachuk had it caught up in his equipment, and it's offside. But if the voice beside me sounds familiar, then of course Stellick, and that is probably because you hear him on a regular basis on radio in Winnipeg. It is a network radio show that runs on 1290 Fox in Winnipeg, Monday to Friday night.
National Sports Radio, and we certainly enjoy hearing from our friends in Winnipeg, all kinds of sports fans across Canada. Myself and Alan Davis do the show, and you know, I'm talking to Eddie Olchuk before the game. He mentions he listens to it. He says he's going to phone in sometime. Dial our 1-800
He will.
number. Yeah, he would. Actually, Eddie was the guy, and I know he's the same in Winnipeg. He was the first player I knew that had the satellite dish at his home. Actually, he got better tapes than we did for a while. Harold wouldn't spend for the videotape equipment here. Eddie would pull down better out-of-town games on his dish and video them than what we had set up here about 8-9 years ago. And, of course, long since with Pat Burns and company coming, the video got upgraded.
Eddie's never met a microphone he didn't like either, has he?
Well, on this side of the business, you got to like guys like Eddie. That's for sure.
He and Robert Picard, remember him?
I remember Robert Picard very well.
He loved to be interviewed, too. Shamnov and Gilmore face off. Puck goes in behind the net with it. There's Numminen, watched there by Gartner.
Boy, Robert Picard was supposed to be the anchor on the Washington Capitol defense when he was selected 3rd overall.
Here's Korolev. Gets up to the Leaf line, dumps it in. 2.5 minutes left in the second period. The score tied 1-1. Shamnov had it go by. Here's Gartner. Gives to Gilmore. With momentum, Gilmore trying to break through. Hyman had knocked it down and cleared it away. There seemed to be a hole where Gilmore was unable to penetrate. Here's Korolev. Gives it to Zhemnov. Zhemnov high in the slot trying to work in. It goes back to Malgunas. In deep now. Tkachuk behind the goal. Tkachuk spinning against Yuskevich trying to center. Tkachuk goes after it again along with Gilmore. Now Malgunas pinches in. Gives it to Zhemnov. Zhemnov back. Korolev shot. Here's Tkachuk. Gives to Zhemnov. And his shot is caught quite easily by Potvin. The Jets at times look like they have good pressure, but aren't getting great scoring opportunity.
No, that's exactly it. Haven't got a ton of chances, but been impressed. You knew the big three, of course, Zhamnov, Tkachuk, and Solani, but what surprised a lot of people this year is Igor Korolev, who jumped in there when there were a couple of injuries. And back in 1992, the St. Louis Blues took Igor Korolev, Vitaly Karmanov, and Vitaly Prokhorov as their first three picks in the entry draft. And they were all taken before the Leafs selected a guy named Nikolai Borshevsky. And of course, that year, 92-93, Nicky Borshevsky had a pretty good start and then scored the biggest goal since Lanny McDonald 15 years ago against the Islanders when he scored in Game 7 against the Detroit Red Wings. So the Blues were a little bit upset with their European scouting program that three guys who didn't pan out were picked ahead of a guy like Nicky Borshevsky. Nicky Borshevsky's now retired. And you see Korolev his second time around with the Winnipeg Jets gets the chance and is cashed in.
Face-off will be to the left of Potvin. Olczyk against Sundin. Solani comes up with it, takes it deep for Winnipeg. Here's Solani behind the goal. Now gets it over to Drake, to Solani. Solani for Drake. Back to the point, Shannon. And it pushed away from him by Warner. Olczyk dumps it back in. Allen deep to get it. Solani after him. It's dumped over center and all the way down the ice. And going back forward is Shannon. A minute 20 left in the second period. Score 1-1. That was the final last night. The Jets in Washington. Here's Olczyk. Gains the leaf line. Olczyk backhand. And Potvin dropped it aside. It goes now to Warner. Warner's pass to center ice to Wood. Wood gets over the line trying to beat Manson outside. Manson takes him out. Sundin is checked, and with it is Olczyk. He flips it high, and that goes all the way down. Dave Manson playing a lot steadier, more the type of guy John Paddock thought he was getting when he made the trade 2 years ago. In the center ice area, Hendrickson tried it for Wood. It goes into the jet zone, and with it there is Stapleton. Dumped it out over center. McCowan fires it back in. And back to get it is Manson. 33 seconds left in the penalty. In the period, pardon me. Second period, 1-1 the score. Here's McIver. To Olczyk. Dumped it in. Back to get it, Yuskevich. He clears it to center. And it is going through the motions here in the final minute of this second period. Now Hendrickson gains the line. He dumps it in. Behind the net, Manson around for King. King dumps it out. McCowan drives it in. And that should just about do it. In fact, it does for the second period.
Well, a strong defensive battle both ways. Solid goaltending both nets. Felix Potvin and Nikolai Habibulin just returned by injury. He's giving it to the Winnipeg Jets for the second night in a row. Now Terry Simpson hopes his troops can get some offense. You're not going to win a lot of games when you only score one goal.
So the score after 2 periods of play is the Toronto Maple Leafs 1, the Winnipeg Jets 1. Stand by. We'll hear from Gary Wilson and Joe Pascucci.
It's their turf. It's their world. It's their game. And when we don't play by their rules, the results can be deadly. From the creator of the award-winning television series Wild America comes a home video unlike anything you've ever seen. These are nature's dangerous encounters, captured in one of the most astonishing wildlife films ever made, and available now for the first time as a special 1-hour home video. Dangerous Encounters brings you breathtaking footage of real-life conflicts. As civilization brings us closer to America's wildest areas, our encounters with nature's untamed creatures are increasing. And we often underestimate their power with disastrous consequences. Dangerous Encounters is filmed and narrated by Marty Stauffer, creator of the popular TV series Wild America. For 25 years, Marty has brought America's rich natural heritage to the screen as no one else can. Now he brings these incredible encounters right into your home. If you crave excitement, if you are captivated by nature's untamed creatures, this film is for you. Satisfaction guaranteed. Call this toll-free number now and use your credit card to get Dangerous Encounters for $29.95. This original production is not available in stores. Order now and you'll also receive Watching Wildlife free. Join Marty Stauffer as he shows you how to view nature's creatures in their natural habitats safely. That's right. Both of these extraordinary programs are yours for $29.95. So call now.
Have your credit card ready and call now 1-800-667-0128. That's 1-800-667-0128. Or send check or money order to Dangerous Encounters, P.O. Box 344, Station L, Department 107, Winnipeg, Manitoba. Or call 1-800-667-0128 now.
Keith Tkachuk has the goal for the Jets in that second period. Matt Sundin scored for the Leafs in the first, and after 2 periods of play in Toronto, we are tied at 1, and I've been on that subway car going to Coxwell Avenue in Toronto. Don't know why, but I inform everybody. Good period of play for the Winnipeg Jets, and a strong period by Teppo Newman, and he's been the best player on the ice.
He has been. He's been everywhere, and I think Terry Simpson's got to be really happy, especially with the Jets' transition game being led by Newman. And here you'll see Newman is backing up, and the puck gets, the Leafs try and dump it in. Newman grabs it, puts the brakes on, quickly goes the other way. He's going to take it right down and get a clear shot. Murphy gives him a little bit of an angle. Newman takes it. Good shot, hits the goalpost. Unfortunate, but a very good job from the Winnipeg Jets right now on that transition game. They're holding their own blue line very well. They're making the Leafs cough up the puck at their blue line. They're turning very quickly, going right up the ice. They're not spending as much time in their own end as they usually do.
Yeah, they're playing a perfect road game. Mentioned in the first intermission, maybe the Jets should try to get somebody in front of Felix Potvin, and that'd be a way to score. Well, they did, and they did.
Yes, it always seems to be the simple solution, and that is Keith Tkachuk's game. You see this line working very hard. Zamnov takes it in, shot on net, but they pounce on it. This is something the Jets have been doing much better as of late. You see Tkachuk working it around with Korolev and Zamnov. Zamnov, typical magic, jumps out and gives it to, I think it's McIver at the point. But there's Keith Tkachuk on the doorstep, doesn't give Potvin a chance to see the puck, gets a little piece of it, redirects it in.
Not as busy a period for Nikolai Habibulin, but when called upon, he was there, and he was there when Matt Sundin tried to give the Leafs the lead again.
Well, in a game like this, Habibulin hasn't seen a lot of action, but it's important for the goalie to come up with those big saves. Here, Newman gets caught up the ice. Sundin comes off the bench. He goes right in, gets a clear opportunity on Habibulin, but he shuts the door.
All right, so as we said, a good period of play for the Jets, a good first period as well. The Jets are playing the perfect road game. What do you look forward to in the third period?
Well, I don't think they want to change a whole lot. Maybe keep the work ethic up, keep pushing and pressing the Leafs. I think there's a couple more goals in there if they keep playing that solid game and continue with that transition game. They haven't spent a lot of time in their own end. They want to keep it just that way.
And you think Teppo will finally get a goal? He had one chance, but we showed he also had another chance later.
Newman's been all over the place. I think you're going to see a lot more of him this period, and might get a goal or set one up.
Just another reason why Teppo Newman maybe should have gone to the All-Star game. He's certainly showing the media and the fans in Toronto why he is one of the most underrated players in the NHL.
Well, he is doing that, and I think maybe he is still trying to prove something. Teppo Newman just goes about his game, makes very few mistakes, but he's not a real flashy player, and that's why he doesn't get the recognition that he deserves. But I mean, this is a place where Winnipeg, if they didn't have Teppo Newman, I'm not sure where that defensive core would be.
All right, Gary Wilson, thank you very much. We'll get your comments after the game. Coming up next, we'll have a CKND Newsline update with Barry Burns, also some Dirt Devils trivia, the Leafs and the Jets tied at 1 after 2 periods of play.
Ceilings, walls, floors. Fibro Contact, the new all-purpose mop from Atlantic Essentials. Fibro Contact reaches new heights in cleaning. The mop head comes off easily, uses less water, less detergent, and reattaches in no time. Its microfiber's cleaning power works perfectly on grease and tough stains, even in hard-to-reach spots. Ceilings, walls, and floors. The rotating head makes cleaning a snap, and it's machine washable. Fibro Contact for all your deep cleaning needs, for your own satisfaction.
Now at the Brick, pay no interest on everything in the store with no down payment. Plus, on specially selected home furnishings, you don't pay interest until $19.99. And now during Operation Clean Sweep, save on clearance appliances and electronics with savings up to 65% on clearance home furnishings. Discontinued one-of-a-kind floor models, it's piled in the aisles and it's all gotta go. Pay no interest on everything in the store. Plus, on specially selected home furnishings, you don't pay interest until $19.99. And don't miss Operation Clean Sweep. Now through this weekend, nobody beats the Brick.
What gives some people the confidence to be their best? To give that extra effort? To go the distance? A lot depends on the equipment they choose. At Athletes Wear, we've got the best selection. Easton gives you all the edge you need with Easton hockey stick blades. Choose from an assortment of NHL player patterns and save over 30% off the individual price when you buy a 2-pack. Athletes Wear, still the right choice.
The choice is there. Athletes Wear.
Our home is an eatery, laundrorama, sportsplex, all under one roof. It's the same as St. Vital Center. It's all right there. Our what you need when you need it place.
Time for a new glove, Mom.
Well, let's go.
Let yourself go.
Hello, everyone. I'm Barry Burns, and coming up tonight on Newsline, a fire that ripped through the Harlequin Costume Company downtown last night has caused more than $1 million damage. Now the question is, who will supply some of the city's upcoming theatrical performances with costumes? Also, City Council continued talks on whether city jobs will only be considered for those living within Winnipeg boundaries. How you can shop some of the world's most exquisite stores without leaving your home. 30,000 signatures today on behalf of Saving Seven Oaks Hospital. And the killer of Helen Betty Osborne wants to make peace with her family. On the world scene, Chechen rebels step up their hostage-taking with the seizure of a Russian ship. And they're suing their very own father, not for child support default, but because he doesn't visit them. Now stay tuned for more Jets hockey on CKND.
Friday at 8 on CKND Winnipeg TV. There are friends.
Yes!
And there are close friends. Good friends.
It's always been you, babe.
And special friends.
You are going to love this.
It takes all kinds. Friends. Thursday at 7 on CKND Winnipeg TV.
Dirt Devil presents Red Hot Trivia. Brought to you by Dirt Devil, makers of the MVP vacuum. Nothing escapes the power of a Dirt Devil. Which two players hold the NHL record for the most points in a game by a defenseman? We'll have the answer right after this.
We're proud to announce that this model not only passed that famous ball bearing test, it surpassed it. It's the Dirt Devil MVP with maximum vacuum power. Just think what it can do in your home.
Put the power of an upright in the palm of your hand with a Dirt Devil hand vac. It's lightweight, powerful, and has a revolving brush to deep clean any surface. Put it to work for you, and you'll see why nothing escapes the power of a Dirt Devil.
Which two players hold the NHL record for the most points in a game by a defenseman? Need a hint? One of the two players is still playing. The first defenseman to set the record played in the NHL for 9 seasons with 5 different teams. He was a member of the Philadelphia Flyers when they won their 2 Stanley Cups in 1974 and 1975. On December 11, 1977, Tom Bladen scored 4 goals and collected 4 assists to set a new NHL record with 8 points in a game. The other player to score 8 points in a game is the highest-scoring defenseman in the NHL's history. Paul Coffey continues to be an offensive force. And on March 14, 1986, he collected 2 goals and 6 assists to tie Bladen's 9-year record.
Just one of those games where everything went right. Wayne was flying pretty high that game, giving me a lot of passes, and every time I passed it, somebody, the puck went in the net. It's just, fortunate for me, I got 8, and it was one of those games where I probably could have had 10 or 12.
Tom Bladen and Paul Coffey, the only defenseman in NHL history to score 8 points in a game. Another red-hot trivia. Brought to you by Dirt Devil, makers of the MVP vacuum. Nothing escapes the power of a Dirt Devil.
Promotional consideration provided by Optex Binoculars. Superior quality, deluxe features, excellent value, all backed by an industry-leading no-fault warranty. See your retailer today.
Over 60,000 businesses across Canada have Advantage 800 numbers. They generated sales of over $1 billion last year. Now just imagine if that system ever went down. Thankfully,
Gilbert Steel, Sales Division.
it won't. Advantage 800. Everything in business should be this reliable.
Kids TV, CKND, Safeway, and Coca-Cola want you to see the most romantic story ever brought to life on ice as Walt Disney's World on Ice presents Beauty and the Beast. Save $3 on tickets to select performances of Beauty and the Beast with coupons on Coca-Cola 12-packs at Canada Safeway stores, courtesy of Kids TV, CKND, Safeway, and Coca-Cola. Get your coupon today and see Walt Disney's World on Ice presents Beauty and the Beast, playing Winnipeg Arena January 17th through 21st.
Molson Jets Hockey on CKND is brought to you in part by Reimer Express, Park Pontiac Buick GMC, and by Athletes Wear.
period before the All-Star break. 1-1. The Leafs and Jets are tied. The lead goal came in the first period. Matt Sundin, shorthanded, his 21st from McCowan. A period in which the Jets outshot the Leafs 14-12. And then in the second period, just the one goal. Tkachuk is 26th from McIver and Shannon. And if you can believe this, I know I can, it says the Leafs outshot the Jets 16-6 in that second period. The shots for two, the Leafs 28 and the Jets 20.
I mean, the Jets seemed to dominate the second period, but we mentioned they weren't getting quality shots, so that could possibly be it, because they didn't seem to be getting enough chances for the type of dominance and territory they had. Or, like a lot of people complain in other arenas, the shot guy, his thumb slips a bit and triples and doubles the shots for the home team.
Here's Berg. Gets it up to the Jet line. Knocked it back. Now Janssen at center. He dumps it into Jet territory. King has it there. Swats it off the boards. Kept in at the point by Murphy. Shot deflected. Domi was in front, and Bullet made the save. Now Domi puts it back to Hogue. Trying to center Berg. Can't get to it. Here's Domi with it now. Domi's backhand blocked by Turcotte. Taken out in front. Shot. Loose puck. And Newman has it for Winnipeg. Sends it out to center. Murphy gives to Hogue. Hogue shot blocked there by Newman. Goes back to center. His pass picked off by Stapleton. Long shot. Potvin sends it ahead now to McCowan.
Well, Pat Burns' message putting Bill Berg and Ty Domi out first shift. We want to get something going. I'm not happy with the drive of our team.
Here's Hogue. Puts it in behind the Jet goal. Puck goes to the corner. Gartner and Jamnov. Jamnov trying to get it out. It's held in, dumped in from the blue line. Delayed offside against the Leafs. But Manson has it now for Winnipeg. Manson gives to McIver. Takes off the offside. Gives it up to Korolev. And that pass was over two lines. Stay with us in tonight's post-game show for the crunch of the game, brought to you by Furnas Auto Body, 160 Higgins Avenue in Winnipeg.
Well, lots of room for a big crunch to come in the last 18 minutes and 47 seconds of this third period. One thing, though, too, is we hear it quite often from Pat Burns when the Leafs are away and coming home tired to play a rested team. Don't hear it as much when it's the other way around, but this is where it should be in the Maple Leafs' favor the last 20 minutes. The Jets playing on the road. Leafs didn't last night. The Leafs are rested, and quite often, if that's the case, it shows in the third period of the game.
Here's Gilmore with it now for Toronto. Works along the boards. McIver ties him up. Puck goes to Jamnov, to Korolev. Looks for Tkachuk. Tkachuk is hit by Yaskevich. Puck grabbed by Jamnov. He's shot. Now Momesso. Looking for some room. Takes it to center. Stopped by Korolev. Puck goes back. Manson with it. Gives to McIver. McIver for Winnipeg. Gives to Tkachuk. It goes off him. Grabbed by Gill. Leaned into by Jamnov. Here's Gilmore. Gilmore moves outside. Doesn't shoot. Looking for some help. Dumps it in. Puck goes to the corner. Gartner. Now McIver for Tkachuk. Tkachuk leaves it. Jamnov goes after it. Can't clear. It's dumped in. And Manson puts it off Korolev to center. Yellen dumps it in. And going back forward is Manson. Play has been whistled down.
Linesman catch too many men or just offside? I guess just offside. That's what we call a delayed offside, Kurt. About 45 seconds ago. Well, you mentioned about the weather here, the fact it's been foggy and rainy in Toronto. The American Hockey League All-Star game, pretty entertaining game last night. 6-5, the U.S. side beat the Canadian side. A lot of NHL prospects for the future playing in that game. A lot of executives and players trying to get back today, and understand they got hit with the ice storm there in Hershey, Pennsylvania. The good news was the highways were salted. The bad news, the off-ramps were. So as long as you didn't want to go anywhere, you were fine. You could drive on the highway forever, but literally it was like an ice patch to get off. So a lot of people having trouble getting back to their respective teams.
Good thing they had their skates.
That's
now
right.
The puck is in the Jet zone. Olczyk. It goes to Solani. He moves out to center ice. Pass for Olczyk, trying to dump it in. Allen clears it out. And with it there is Shannon. Shannon puts it into the Leaf zone. Allen with it for Toronto. Solani knocked it away from him. Here's Solani in behind the goal. Goes to the other side. Out front, Olczyk. And his shot was blocked in front. Break checked by Warner. Warner's pass for Wood. Wood can't get by Shannon. And now Ellett deep for the Leafs. Puts it ahead for Warner. Stopped by Shannon. Ellett tries it again. Solani with it for Toronto. Solani knocked it away from him. Here's Solani in behind the goal. Goes to the other side. Out front, Olczyk. And his shot was blocked in front. Break checked by Warner. Warner's pass for Wood. Wood can't get by Shannon. And now Ellett deep for the Leafs. Puts it ahead for Warner. Stop by Shannon. Ellett tries it again. Allen with Warner, and Sundin gains the line, gives to Warner. Shot, have a bullet, save, rebound. Tipped away by Shannon. Again, Wood went hard to the net. It goes over to Sundin.
Randy Gillen's down. I don't know whether he took a stick, but Dan Marawelli and the Jets motioning to the Jet bench. We'll see if the linesman or referee caught anything, but Randy Gillen fell down in a heap.
1-1, the Leafs and the Jets in the third. This is your Molson hockey telecast.
Freedom. Independent. What it is.
Sportsline is the place to be for the best sports coverage every night at 11, right here on CKND Winnipeg TV. Of course, we have all the highlights every night, as well as detailed coverage of the local sports scene. That includes the Safeway Select Provincial Men's Curling Championship coming up next month in Brandon. We're going to be all over that story.
You could be our guest here in Brandon that week. Win tickets and free accommodation here at the Trails West Motor Inn. Watch Sportsline for details on how to enter.
Boy, this sports announcer stuff is tough work, isn't it, girls?
To Sportsline.
Hi, Joe.
CKND and Canada Safeway present live coverage of the Safeway Select Men's Provincial Curling Championships on the 10th and 11th of February from the Keystone Center in Brandon. You can join Sportsline's Darren Millard along with Joe Pascucci and Don Finkbeiner and Kathy Gauthier as we crown the 1996 provincial champion.
Boy, a sport that's just gaining in popularity. I guess the only time it's unpopular is if you have to play hockey right after the ice has been used for a curling championship. It's certainly gaining all kinds of, or increasing notoriety and support all across Canada. Randy Gillen went straight to the Jets dressing room. There wasn't any penalty call, and Terry Simpson of the Jets not arguing too vehemently with Dan Marawelli and the linesman. So he must have caught away from the play a stick because there was blood on the ice, and he's been taken to the Jet dressing room for repairs.
So both clubs will be at full strength, 3:11 into the third, with the score tied 1-1. Sundin shorthanded in the first, and Tkachuk even strength in the second. Hendrickson is out between Domi and Baumgartner. We expect to have word on the situation regarding Gillen very shortly. Here's Janssen at the point. Janssen against King. King kicks at it to center ice. Not trying to dump it in. King gets up, does put it in. Penalty coming to the Leafs. McKenzie goes after it, puts it behind the net for Eastwood. Jets with 6 attackers. It's centered. Domi gets it, and play is whistled.
Interference call out by Dan Marawelli. I tell you, Chris King, that's twice. Just his hustle and willingness to stick his nose into it has drawn a penalty against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Kenny Janssen, a little too cute with the puck on the blue line. If you're not sure, you've got to dump it in. He took that extra half second, and there's Chris King right in his face. Knocked the puck loose. Trying to get around, and Kenny Janssen then makes a smart play. You know you've lost him. Stick the stick in. You don't want to give up a breakaway or 2-on-1. Good penalty to take. And the Jets on the power play and a chance to try to break this deadlock.
So the Jets send out Tkachuk, Shamnov, Solani, Numanen, and McIver.
Well, the number 2 power play, number 2 ranked power play in the National Hockey League. You mentioned ever since McIver came, you were saying a goal every game since Norm McIver's been added. And what a plus when you've got 2 guys at the point. Reminds you of the Calgary days of Al McInnes and Gary Suter. Which one do you take? The lesser of 2 evils.
Gilmore and Tkachuk. Tkachuk wins it. It goes to McIver. To Numanen. Tkachuk is stationed in his favorite spot in front. It goes now to Shamnov. Shamnov back to Numanen. Back to Shamnov. Tkachuk still in front. Shamnov lets it go, and that's wide. Here's McIver with it now. McIver moves along the line. Gives to Shamnov. He tried to feed Tkachuk. It went between his feet. Here's McIver. Gives to Numanen. His drive. Knocked away by Potvin. Loose puck. Tkachuk goes after it. Gilmore can't clear. Tkachuk to Solani. Solani pursued by McCowan. Puts it back. McIver. Numanen. Shamnov. Nobody in front now. Tkachuk. moves into position. Shamnov takes a look, gets it over. Here's McIver. Newman, shot off the backboard. Solani. Chased by McCowan. Back to the point, McIver. Newman to Shamnov. Shamnov takes his time. Shamnov lets it go. It went off a couple of bodies, picked up by McIver. 54 seconds left in a man advantage for Winnipeg. Solani's pass wide of Newman.
Well, the Jets moving the puck, but not quickly, and they're trying to get the oh-so-perfect pass, and they're not getting any chances.
Here's Solani moving in, but play was called as it was gloved ahead. 42 seconds left in the penalty.
Well, Randy Gillen returning to the Winnipeg Jet bench, but the Jets kept moving the puck around. They know Keith Tkachuk is set up right in front of Felix Potvin. And whether Felix says, hey, leave him alone. I don't want the defenseman to add to the obstruction. Felix will take care of him like it's like Dino Cicerelli, who got under Potvin's skin a few years ago. Let him go there, but you got to get the shot on net if you're the Winnipeg Jets, because Keith Tkachuk can't do much with a wide shot. If you get it near him, he can deflect it, he can obstruct it, but they're trying to get that perfect shot. Instead, they get the puck back outside the blue line, and a minute 18 gone in the power play.
Tkachuk probably couldn't believe how comfortable he was out front there. Like you say, nobody really hassling him.
That's what Felix says, look, leave the one guy there. When you have to come around, but don't put two of you there blocking me. I can get that first shot. If you clear him out before the rebound, that's fine.
Jets' lone goal was scored by Tkachuk as he deflected a point drive of McIver, but it was even strength. Now 25 seconds left in a man advantage. Here's Shamnov. Gets in across the line. Shamnov drops it back, and it goes outside the zone. Now Shamnov behind the back pass to Manson. On the right side, here's Korolev breaking at the net. Korolev shot. Big save, Potvin. He's on his back on the puck.
Another huge save by Felix Potvin. Korolev cutting into the net. Felix Potvin plays the angle well, and Igor Korolev tried to stuff it in. Would have been a power play goal. Still 4 seconds left in Kenny Johnson's penalty, but not the case. Good feed up from Dave Manson, and Korolev taking his wrong side, cuts in. The Leaf defense, a bit of a whack at it, but he had a good shot, and Felix Potvin, a big save. Then Felix gets a bit lucky because on the rebound, Korolev hits the post.
4 seconds left in the penalty to Johnsson. Face off a little bit to the right of Felix the Cat. 30-24 the shots in favor of Toronto.
Little discussion. Jets talking to referee Dan Marawelli. He's going to go talk to the scorekeeper. Maybe they want to get another second or two added on to the penalty. Maybe the penalty clock ran down when the time clock didn't. We'll see what happens. Lots happened this year, too, regarding 1,000-point nights. And Doug Gilmour, December 23rd, became the 44th player to pick up his 1,000th point, Bert. But he became the first player ever to pick it up twice in one game. He picked up his 1,000th point. They dumped on the ice. Video replay. It was a game against the Edmonton Oilers. Disallowed the goal. So they all go back to where they started from. 6 minutes later, with about 5 minutes in the game, Doug Gilmour legitimately picked up his 1,000th point. So they all came back on the ice once again. You got a dress rehearsal.
Here's McCowan, dumps it all the way down the ice. And going back forward is Newman. Watched there by Hendrickson. Newman's pass on the right side for McKenzie. McKenzie stopped there by Baumgartner. Domi to Hendrickson. To Domi. Hendrickson breaks to the net. Here's the shot by Domi. Ababola got a piece of it. Puck goes to the corner. Domi puts it behind the net. Eastwood trying to clear. Murphy has to go back to center for it. 6 minutes into the third. The score tied 1-1. Here's Domi. Takes it to center. Mishandled. Gets it again. Trying to dump it in. Now Hendrickson puts it behind the net. Eastwood to the blue line. Stop. Domi. Shot. Redirected by Baumgartner. And with it is Newman. He sends it to center. That'll go all the way down. And it will be icing once Larry Murphy gets back to touch it.
Almost a Baumgartner from Domi goal. I don't know that it might have brought the roof down with the crowd's reaction. We mentioned Randy Gillen back on the Winnipeg Jet bench. That was his first shift back since he was cut about 5 minutes ago. Good news for the Jets. And Ken Baumgartner, injury prone the last 2 years, but he and Ty Domi have been really effective players for the Maple Leafs. Even though Gillen played a shift, we see him with the ice bag. So it still must be bogging him trying to get the swelling down or stop the bleeding. Pretty game guy to come back. He's bounced around in the era of expansion, Kurt. If you can do something like kill penalties like Randy Gillen does, can skate half decent, and keep yourself in decent shape, you're going to play a lot longer than probably you thought you would 10 years ago, and certainly for a lot more money than you thought you would 10 years ago.
Allen win face-offs, and you know he's been able to do whatever it is you have to do. And he's had a long career in the NHL.
Boy, Ty and Ken.
Nothing have to be as tough.
No.
You have to be able to take those things and come back.
Just saying, Ty and Ken even spit in unison there at the bench.
Here's Hogue in the corner, chased by Shamnoff. Hogue against Korolev, who dumped it onto center ice. Now Yuskevich puts it ahead. McIver gives to Shamnoff. Shamnoff took it. Chuck Korolev goes to the net. Here's the shot. And Craig comes up with it. Craig now waits, gives to Allen. 1-1 the score, nearing the 7-minute mark as the puck pops up and out of play in the third period.
Well, we're talking about the possible fatigue factor that should work in the Leafs' advantage. That certainly hasn't been the case. Dave Ellett's seen it from both sides. Talk about all-time great Winnipeg Jet teams or all-time great Winnipeg Jet defensemen. You'd have to put Dave Ellett, I would think, on that if you're looking back at the Jets' distinguished history.
Well, he certainly was one of their better defensemen over the years. Teppo Newman and Dave Babbage.
Came in the trade along with Paul Fenton for Eddie Olczyk and Mark Osborne back in 1990-91. Leafs got off to a horrible start, made the trade, fired Doug Carpenter then after 11 games a few days after that trade. I thought that was pulling the trigger a little bit early until Montreal this year. It's like 5-6 games. Gonzo Alonso.
Talking about good ones in the past. Better not forget the assistant coach either.
That's right.
Randy Carlyle. Now the puck back at the blue line. Olczyk trying to dump it in. It's taken by Sundin. On the left side is Warner. 3-on-2. Moves it. He lets it go. And it's grabbed and held by Habibulin. 1-1 the score. 7:07 into the third.
Day after day, you see the same thing. Car and truck buyers driving all over Manitoba looking for great deals, only to end up at the home of the big buy, Jim Goche. And then they ask, how do you always have the best prices? And how can you sell your cars and trucks for so much less than everybody else? Well, the answer is easy. Volume! If you don't come see the big guy today, he can't save you any money.
On McPhillips, north of Inkster.
Books make you smart. CKND Kids TV wants you to join the Jets Readers Club and collect bookmarks from all your favorite Jets.
Popovich chased by King.
Collect these bookmarks.
Doan gets it back again. Here's Doan, works in, shot, saved by T-Ball.
The more you read, the more you know.
Ask your teacher how you can join the Jets Readers Club today.
Read books.
They called him the minister of defense when he played, Randy Carlyle.
Began his career right here in Toronto. Roger Nielsen had him traded to Pittsburgh along with George Ferguson for Dave Burrows. History repeats itself. Roger didn't like the young guys.
Here's Olczyk, gives to Solani. Solani's pass goes to Drake. Drake gets up to the line, over to Algunas, and play had been called on the outside. Meanwhile, Wood and Solani do some shoving, and now that draws a crowd behind the net.
A little bit after the play, of course, Wood and Solani, and when the Winnipeg Jets see its team of Solani, a few more jump in there. Randy Wood can take care of himself. That's one thing, too, and he's a little bit annoyed of the pushing and shoving after the whistle. We'll see if Marawelli calls any penalties right now. Talking about the Randy Carlyle, though, much like the Florida Panthers, you hear guys like Rob Niedermeyer complaining that they didn't get a chance to play under Roger Nielsen, that they're getting under Doug MacLean, and that's why Brian Murray said, hey, all kinds of credit to Roger Nielsen, what he does, but if there's one point they don't like is reluctance to play young players. And Randy Carlyle was a great young defenseman drafted by the Maple Leafs. Roger Nielsen wanted to go for some veterans, made that trade along with George Ferguson for Dave Burrows, the veteran stay-at-home defenseman he thought could help the Leafs win a Stanley Cup. Carlyle goes to Pittsburgh, wins the Norris Trophy, been in Winnipeg, done it all now. I'll tell you, when you sit in this booth, this is the best booth to sit in because people think you know what you're talking about. Best way to get a job back behind the bench, and Randy Carlyle's proven that once again. Randy Wood practicing to be a broadcaster in Timo Solani to help to clean up his language a bit if they want to get up here down the road, but obviously taking each other to task. Randy Wood saying there's some nice restaurants in Phoenix. Check out. Timu thinks they're a bit expensive.
So they each go off for 2 minutes. 7:21 into the third with the score tied 1-1.
Well, 4-4, you like to get your skaters out. And Mike Gardner, I haven't really noticed him too much tonight. And he's certainly out here on the first 4-on-4 situation because he can fly.
Turcotte is out with Stapleton for Winnipeg. Gardner and Gilmore for Toronto. Ellett is back with Murphy. Finley is back with Newman. Now it goes to Gardner. He gives to Gilmore. Gilmore gets to the line. Checked by Newman. It rolls in deep. Habapulin covers up with Gardner there quickly.
Talked about the top of the show, the Golden Oldies. Mark Messier, unbelievable year, pushing 35-36. Gretzky, and of course Mike Gardner.
1-1, 7.5 into the third.
Ceilings, walls, floors. Fibro Contact's the new all-purpose mop from Atlantic Essentials. Fibro Contact reaches new heights in cleaning. The mop head comes off easily, uses less water, less detergent, and reattaches in no time. Its microfiber's cleaning power works perfectly on grease and tough stains, even in hard-to-reach spots. Ceilings, walls, and floors. The rotating head makes cleaning a snap. And it's machine washable. Fibro Contact for all your deep cleaning needs, for your own satisfaction.
Sportsline is the place to be for the best sports coverage every night at 11, right here on CKND Winnipeg TV. Of course, we have all the highlights every night, as well as detailed coverage of the local sports scene. That includes the Safeway Select Provincial Men's Curling Championship coming up next month in Brandon. We're going to be all over that story.
You could be our guest here in Brandon that week. Win tickets and free accommodation here at the Trails West Motor Inn. Watch Sportsline for details on how to enter.
Boy, the sports announcer stuff is tough work, isn't it, girls?
To Sportsline.
Hi, Joe.
A minute 45 left in those penalties, so they're still playing 4-on-4, a 1-1 hockey game, face-off in a jet zone, and it's picked up by Stapleton. He moves out with Turcotte to center, dumps it in. Turcotte goes after it, Ellett after him, and it's poked out to center ice. Finley over now for Newman. Into Turcotte. Turcotte got it for, trying to go through. Ellett goes outside, spins, gets a shot away, and Gilmore grabs the loose puck and starts back for Toronto. Now Gilmore up to the line, trying to work through 3 jets, goes outside, centers it, deflected over top by Gardner. Here's Turcotte, lost it. Ellett had it poked away by Turcotte. Now Gardner, beat to it by McIver. McIver gets over the line. He goes outside. Jets make a change. It goes now to Tkachuk. Back, he jammed on shot, and that was up and out of play.
Well, Alexei Zhamnov just missed the net, but the Gardens crowd calling for a hooking penalty. They thought Mike Gardner got hooked down. I think Dan Morelli says maybe if you did embellish it with a bit of a dive, you might have got the call. But also a 1-1 game, tough to make those type of calls. This game also tonight on our CanWest affiliate in Toronto, Global TV. John Paddock, the general manager of the Winnipeg Jets, being interviewed by Jim Ralph. Barry Pern, the assistant coach, and Pete Peters also in front of them. Now, Jim Ralph says he's one of the funnier guys, one of the better after-dinner speakers. And I'll tell you something, Kurt, the league can't expand enough to ever get Jim Ralph back as a goalkeeper. You could have 100 teams, and Jimmy Ralph is, I think, relegated back to broadcaster.
Pete Peters keeps himself in great shape. You never know about him. Here's Craig. Moves out to center ice. Now looks for Rowan. Puts it on the right side. It goes to Hogue. Hogue shot. It goes into the corner. Now Craig with it. Craig in front for Hogue. Knocked away by Habapulin. Yuskevich trying to center it. It goes to Craig. Craig back for Hogue. Hogue gives to Yuskevich. Down into the corner to Craig. McIver trying to wrap him up. They're still 4-on-4 for another 18 seconds. 1-1 is the score. Nearing the midway mark of the third. Here comes Alexei Zhamnov. He works it out to center. He's up against Treley. Trying to go outside. Gets a shot away. Hot man to save. McCowan comes up with it. Puts it on the right side now to center ice. Craig flips it in. Wood and Solani step out of the penalty box. Both clubs at the full complement. Solani slides it to center. Murphy. A hit for Wood. Off hit. Newman. Chase. Gets it to Solani. Solani Pass into the middle. Here's Olczyk on the left side. Tried it for Drake. Here's a shot by Solani, knocked away by Potvin. Solani kicks it deep. Ridden out by a couple of players. Now it goes to Drake. Out front for Solani, and Gill knocked it away. Now Gunas to Drake, to Olczyk. Solani's in front. Olczyk still with it. Here's Olczyk. He scored! Solani was in front. Olczyk fed it. It's 2-1 Winnipeg.
Eddie Olczyk showing a lot of patience behind the net. Didn't fire the puck blindly in front. He knew Timo Solani and company had the Leafs running around like the Keystone Cops, and Eddie Olczyk calmly came in front, slid it across, and Timo Solani tips it in. Timo Solani will go right to the net. You might as well go there. That's where things are going to happen. Randy Wood thinks he has him tied up, but Eddie Olczyk taking it out in front. Randy, you didn't have Timo's stick. You had everything else, but you didn't have the stick. The slide pass over, Timo Solani redirects it into the net. But Eddie Olczyk, that's the play that Wayne Gretzky started years ago, setting up from behind. Calmly comes up, and a nice assist for Eddie O, and a big goal for Timo Solani.
His 23rd of the season, and the Jets have a 2-1 lead. For the record, it also extends Solani's scoring streak to 11 consecutive games, the longest current streak in the NHL, in which he has at least a point. Now the puck goes all the way down the ice. Finley goes after it. Out of the net, Hababulin sends it up the board. That's found by Domi. Domi knocked it behind the net. Now they battle forward in the corner. Baumgartner against Shannon. Domi against Eastwood. Eastwood ahead now for Gillen. He banks it, and it goes all the way down. Back to get it, Yuskevich. In behind his goal. 9:20 left in the third. The Jets with a 2-1 lead. Yuskevich, long shot. He had a lot on that one from well out, and Hababulin kicked it away. Now it goes to Turcotte. Turcotte puts it ahead. Ellett knocks it back. Turcotte gets it again. Aaron Turcotte is checked. Domi comes back for Toronto. Dumps it in. Hababulin is out of the goal. Around for Stapleton. Leaned into by Monesso. And Newman away for Winnipeg. Dumps it in. Back goes Murphy. And that'll be icing against the Winnipeg Jets. 2-1. The Jets lead with 8:45 left in the third.
There's a very simple reason why there's nothing more reliable than MTS Advantage 800 service. It's not the fact that even our backup systems have backup systems, or that a call can be routed through 8 million alternate routes if there's a problem. It's because if it isn't reliable,
we're sorry. Your call cannot be completed as dialed.
You might as well do this to your business. Advantage 800. Everything in business should be this reliable.
Atlantel introduces Bacon Wave, the amazing microwave tray that helps you cook perfect bacon. In minutes, you will have truly delicious and crispy bacon. It's simple. You just put the slices in the slots, slide the skewers in place, and cook in the microwave. And no more splashing. Bacon Wave eliminates a whole lot of fat. You can stack Bacon Wave trays to cook up to 20 slices of leaner, healthier bacon for all your recipe ideas. Bacon Wave is now available in these fine stores.
Playing the Jets on. Gilmore slides it behind the goal, and it's picked up there by Manson. Tried it for Tkachuk. Into Korolev. Tkachuk follows up. Now Murphy puts it into Jet territory. Gilmore goes after it in front. Gardner couldn't contain that hard pass. Puck goes in deep. Gilmore against Manson. Momesso. Deep, trying to free himself of Tkachuk. Now Momesso does get it to Gilmore. Gilmore spinning. Gilmore trying to center. Puck goes to the other side. With it, Momesso. Behind for Gilmore. Gilmore centers in the Kyber with it for Winnipeg. Gets it to Korolev. To Zhemnov. Zhemnov back to Korolev. Korolev deep. Korolev stops. Puck goes free. And Bill Berg away for Toronto. Berg long shot. Kicked away by Hababulin. It goes out to center ice. McCowan drives it back in.
Two shots in a row, one by Yuskevich, one by Berg, that almost beat Hababulin from far out.
Here's Olczyk shot that went wide. Now Finley at center. Finley dumps it in. Going back forward is Yuskevich. Drake runs into him. Now puck goes free, and here comes Yuskevich. Moves it out to center ice. Dumps it into the Jets zone. Hababulin around on the board for Solani. trying to get by McCowan. Puck squirts free. Here's Berg. And his stick lifted by Finley. Still managed to get a shot from the angle. That didn't really give Hallabullin any problem. But as a result of that last goal by Timo Solani, Sheila Stornell of Winnipeg is our next winner in the Safeway Score and Win contest by including a Kleenex facial tissue proof of purchase and entering at Safeway. Sheila has won a Texas Instruments personal organizer.
Well, big goal for the Jets by Solani, hoping to hold on to this 2-1 lead. Never too early look at playoff spots either. Right now, if the season were to end today, the Jets would have the 8th and final playoff spot in the Western Conference. Coming into tonight's game, they had 42 points. That's 3 better than the Calgary Flames with 1 game in hand. So I think more and more our eyes will be focused to these close playoff races, certainly where the Jets want to end up when it's all said and done.
Here's Newman and goes after it in behind his goal with Warner trying to wrap him up. Newman and gets it back to Malgunas. Just under 7 minutes left in the third. The Jets lead by 1. Here's Eastwood. Sends it back to the lead line. With it there is Hellett. Hellett's pass goes off the stick of Sundin all the way down. Malgunas behind the goal. Malgunas drags Wood with him. Now Sundin grabs the puck. Lets it go. Rebound. Batted away by Newman. With it now Eastwood. Got it outside the zone. It's dumped back in, and with it Malgunas. Chased by Wood. Tried for McKenzie. Stopped by Warner. Malgunas will try it again. Stuart Malgunas gets it over to Gillen. Gillen dumps it into the Leaf zone. And going back is Hellett. Hellett ahead for Gilmore. Gilmore trying to work by Turcotte. Dropped it to Warner. He puts it back. Hellett watched there by King. Hellett's pass goes ahead to center ice. With it is Gill. He drives it into the Jet zone. Into the corner after Gardner, along with Manson. It's picked up now by King. King dumped it out. And going back is Janssen with Turcotte after him. Janssen takes it in behind his goal. 5:38 left. 2-1. The Jets lead. Third period. Momesso. Gardner. He dumps it in. Going back is Manson. Manson can't clear. Janssen dumps it in behind. Manson gets another opportunity. Puts it into the corner where Gilmore waits. Gilmore trying to get by Turcotte. Throws it in front. They bang away. Loose puck. And it's grabbed by Stapleton. Away for Winnipeg with King. Late pass. Just too far for King. King in behind the goal. Here's King working with it. King steps in front. His shot. And it went over top.
We had a subplot behind Doug Gilmore and Nikolai Hallabullin were exchanging words while the action was in the Leaf zone.
Here's Gilmore with it. It's over 2 lines. And it was odd. They were nose to nose having that conversation. The play was 200 feet away.
That's funny. Thanks, Eddie. Not a bad game.
We want to make it perfectly clear. You'll find guaranteed low prices at your Canadian Tire store every day. If you find a better price anywhere, we'll match it. Guaranteed.
Doug Gilmore addressing Nikolai Hallabullin.
Well, it's easy to see why the Jets were upset with Doug Gilmore. Terry Simpson talking to his troops about trying to hold this 1-goal lead. But Sergei Momesso had a great chance if he could have got his stick on the puck to be the hero standing outside the crease. Couldn't. Then Doug Gilmore barreled over 2 Jet player in the crease. Had words with Nikolai Hallabullin. Would it be a combination English-Russian, or what would it be? A little mix?
It'd be a combination, whatever it is.
Dougie speaks the universal language, I imagine. He's got to get back, get focused, and trying to tie this game up. We mentioned what the positive side of a win for the Jets. And here's the play. And Doug Gilmore, boy, works. So look at the jam. Momesso can't get a stick on it. Now, Dougie Gilmore, there you go, 2 of you. Down we go. Little roller derby action, little whack. No harm done if we don't hit you. You talking to me? And meanwhile, there's a scoring chance down the other end, 200 feet away for the Winnipeg Jets.
Finlay dumps it into the Leaf zone. Just under 5 minutes left. Here's Tkachuk in the corner. Hellett stays with him. Tkachuk puts it in deep. Korolev. Bump. It goes now to Gill. Gill approached by Korolev. Puts it over. And Yuskevich looks ahead to Berg. Check. Chamnov. Hands it right back to Berg. He gives to Hogue. Hogue trying to penetrate. Now it goes free. Here's Hogue. In front. Craig had been wrapped up by Shamnoff. Gallon dumps it behind the Jet net. Craig goes after it there. Here's Craig. Shot. That goes wide. Hogue in the corner. Puts it deep. Shannon. Banned on a clearing attempt. It goes to Craig. A shot. Never goal to the save. Rebound. And then went off the skate of Finley as it was shot by Hogue. Craig missed it. Finley goes after it in the corner. Tried it for Korolev. Gillett is there. Here's Shamnoff. Gets it to Shannon. The Jets 2-on-1. 3-on-1. It's Tkachuk with Shamnoff and Shannon. Back to Shamnoff. Tkachuk. He scored.
Well, a great give and go. This Maple Leaf line, a great hit by Benoit Hogue. But Bill Berg, Benoit Hogue, and Mike Craig were just spent. They stayed on too long, and they got caught. And actually, the 3-on-1, one of the Jets peeled off, so it became a 2-on-1. Here's Keith Tkachuk, all kinds of time in the world. The give and go, back and forth. Tkachuk, perfect shooting from the wrong side. He hammers it home, 3-1 Winnipeg. Starts back in the Jet zone, and see, look at all three Leaf forwards. There's Craig, Berg, and Benoit Hogue. They're all caught. They're caught by a mile. Watch the Winnipeg player. He pulls off, too. Said, I'm tired. It's a 3-on-1. I'm just going to go to the bench. Watch it from there. And he gets a great view.
Well, Darryl Shannon looked inside was Tkachuk and Shamnoff and figured they didn't really need him. Shannon does draw an assist on that goal. Tkachuk, his second of the night from Shamnoff and Shannon. Newman dumps it all the way down. 3.5 minutes left in the third. The Jets with a 3-1 lead. Here's Murphy in front of his goal. His pass to Warner. Dumped it in. Gill goes after it. Gill's shot. Kicked away. It's in behind the net. Here's Warner with Wood stationed in front. Warner works in front. Back to the point. Gill. Gill's shot. Penalty. Coming up to the Winnipeg Jets.
Well, 3:11 left in the third period. The Leafs have 2 goals to try to come back from. This will give them a good chance on the power play.
The Jets put one in. That goal by Keith Tkachuk, and Peter Lister of Winnipeg is in for a surprise by attaching a label from Basil Margarine and entering Score to Win at Safeway. Peter, you won a Macassa 20-piece dinnerware set.
For Stuart Malgunas, 2 minutes for holding, and that will give the Leafs a power play down by 2 goals. Coming in the corner, he had a grip on Matt Sundin. I think Matt Sundin has much a grip on him, but Malgunas, they had the misfortune of, for a second, wrapping both arms around Sundin. So the Leafs will go right at him with 3:11 left. Might even see Felix Potvin out of the net a bit early with the Leafs needing to come back from the 2-goal deficit.
Gilmore between Gardner and Sundin up front on the power play. Murphy is back with Janssen. Janssen trying to put it in. It's knocked down. Puck goes free. It's kicked loose. Here's Janssen with traffic in front. Lets it go. Saved by Habibul and Sundin. Center Stapleton trying to clear. He can't. Janssen in behind to Sundin. Sundin gets it behind the net now to Gilmore. Gilmore stations Gardner. He scores! Mike Gardner on the power play. It's 3-2.
Well, in some way, a mirror of the Jets' second goal when Eddie Olczyk was patient behind the net. Here it's Doug Gilmore waiting. Nobody's better at this than Doug Gilmore in the NHL, and nobody's better than finding the right spot than Mike Gardner. Look at Doug Gilmore thread the needle. That puck was bouncing. One whack from Mike Gardner. He scores in the power play to cut the Jet lead to 3-2. Nobody taking the man.
So it's a 3-2 hockey game on that power play goal by the veteran Gardner. The Jets lead the Leafs with 2:45 left in the third.
Well, we talked about these 2 players off the top of the game. Mike Gardner, the golden oldie, leads the Maple Leafs in scoring. And Norm McIver once again caught not taking the man defensively. He's in the crease. Better off taking the man. You're not helping the goalkeeper back there. So McIver's contributed offensively, but struggled a bit defensively tonight. But right now, Mike Gardner has put the Leafs right back in the hockey game.
Stapleton, Newman works to center, dumps it in. Going back is Murphy. Chased by Turcotte. Turcotte steals it back and rebound. Potvin, 2 big saves. Stapleton spun around, fired it wide. Here's King with it now. Bumped by Warner. King gets it back behind to Turcotte. Can't feed it. And now Murphy with it for Toronto. Murphy stopped by King. Turcotte after it. Falls. Murphy knocked it away. Turcotte and King doing a tremendous job in forechecking the Leafs. Puck behind the net. King puts it to the corner. Murphy approached by Stapleton. Wood manages to flip it high. Now Gunas knocks it back to the Leaf line. In with it is Stapleton, who dumps it in.
Well, I guess if any Leafs wondered if the Jets were going to sit back on the one-goal lead, that's been answered. They're not.
A minute 48 left. Puck at the Leaf line. Here's Korolev moving in. He scored! Igor Korolev caught the far side. It's 4-2 Winnipeg.
I'll tell you something. I've been impressed the way this Winnipeg team played. The lead's cut to 1 instead of sitting back and trying to hold on to that one-goal lead. They played last night. They're tired. They're on the road. They come right back in the Maple Leafs' face, make all kinds of havoc. And Igor Korolev threads a butte, taking advantage of another Leaf miscue. Just catches the inside post, beats Felix Potvin, and restores the 2-goal margin.
Korolev unassisted in 18-16. So Pauline Evertoski of Winnipeg is a winner in our score and win contest. Pauline purchased Kraft Cracker Barrel cheese at Safeway and entered score and win. As a result, Pauline has won a Gold Star Touch 2 VCR. A minute and a half left. And they've begun to file out of Maple Leaf Gardens. Sundin gets it on the right side to Gill. Puts it up to the jet line. Manson stops it. Now pokes it to Gillen. It goes to Ellett. Ellett dumps it into the jet corner. Back to get it is Manson. Manson flips it high. That'll go all the way down the ice. Backboard is Gill. And it's icing against the Winnipeg Jets.
Well, I'll tell you something also tonight. What Pat Burns won't be happy about his team is this will be the first time all season the Leafs have lost 3 straight games. They haven't done that this year, but they've lost one to the Islanders last Friday. They lost to the Vancouver Canucks on Saturday, and tonight would make 3 straight losses, all against teams with an under 500 record. Pat Burns is not going to be the happy coach going into the All-Star break.
Well, tonight's St. Louis score and win grand prize winner should Keith Tkachuk get another goal tonight, which is possible with the Leafs pulling the netminder. We will win a trip for 2 to Mazatlan, Mexico, where you and a guest will spend 7 glorious days on the sun-drenched beaches at Caravelle Beach. Well, courtesy of Canadian Holidays, Canada's largest vacation company. So, Potvin is out. The Leafs have 6 attackers. They trail 4-2. Tkachuk is not on the ice, by the way. Gilmore, Gertner, Hogue up front.
Bill Waters, Rick Walmsley, Cliff Fletcher not happy. Watching from afar, and Pat Burns and Mike Kitchen doesn't look much better from the bench.
Wood and Sundin along with Murphy, so 5 forwards among the 6 skaters for Toronto. Here's Gilmore, in behind the net, trying to center Newman and knocked it away. Warner kicks to Gilmore, trying to wrap it around. Puck goes free. After it quickly is Drake at center. Drake pulled down by Sundin, who's going to draw a penalty.
Well, that's a good penalty, too. Tell you, I'd be ticked if it was Keith Tkachuk and you're going for that hat-trick prize, but it was Dallas Drake trying to get the empty net goal. He was over center ice, so he could take a whack. He had a freebie, and Matt Sundin said, we're not going out without a fight. Pretty good headlock. Looks like Matt has a little rodeo experience in him. Just dismissed Dallas Drake, drew the penalty, and hard out of frustration also. And that'll do it. Felix Potvin will come back in the net for the face-off in the Leaf zone, but 46.4 seconds left. Well, the Jets hadn't won in over 2 years. December 1993 had lost their last 6 straight at Maple Leaf Gardens since then. That will change tonight.
Well, they've suddenly become a better road club. 2 out of 3 at a recent road trip, and then 3 points out of a possible 4 on this one, having gained the tie last night in Washington.
Leafs a tough team to beat, too, when they scored the first goal of the game. They did that tonight, but it didn't deter the Jets.
Tkachuk is out there now for the face-off. He's between Solani and Shamnov. Tkachuk gives it to Shamnov. Shamnov in for Tkachuk. Tkachuk in front for Solani. Puck goes free. McIver to Solani. Trying to center it. That was picked off. And the Leafs, Gilmore moves to center with 30 seconds left. Gilmore against McIver. Puts it across in front. Newman and Hogue tied up. Hogue goes back with it. Gives to McCowan. Gilmore in front. McCowan trying to feed it. And it goes to Shamnov. He's checked. Tkachuk back. Sends it to the other corner. Newman will take his time. 10 seconds left. Gets it to Solani. Solani content to kill the clock. Puts it back into his own zone, and that'll do it. The Winnipeg Jets have defeated the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Great road win for the Jets. They played last night in Washington, the 1-1 tie. Came back from the shorthanded goal, which could have been a killer by Matt Sundin that gave the Leafs a 1-0 lead. Leafs had only lost twice in 22 games prior to tonight when they scored the first goal of the game. Make that 3 times. And Terry Simpson and company have to be a very happy crew heading into the All-Star break. The Leafs losing 3 games in a row for the first time all season, not feeling exactly the same.
So Nikolai Habibullin comes back from injury. Into 24 hours, 2 games, yields only 3 goals. The Jets beat the Leafs 4-2. Stand by for the Molson 3-star selection.
Dad, you worked late.
Oh, all night. You need any help?
No.
Good, because I'm too tired.
Tested and true. Dad! I know that you'll always come through.
Thought you could use some help.
Thanks.
Play Safeway's Score and Win. When the Jets score on CKND, you could win an IBM Aptiva multimedia computer, a GE Spacemaker 2 microwave oven, Dirt Devil's MVP and Dust Devil from Royal Appliance, or $300 in MasterCard traveler's checks from the Bank of Montreal. You could also win a trip or 2 to Mazatlan, Mexico, courtesy of Canadian Holidays, Canada's largest vacation company. Safeway's participating products, Unico Pasta, and Safeway Select Indulgence Cheesecakes. Score and win at Safeway, today's better way.
Sportsline is the place to be for the best sports coverage every night at 11, right here on CKND Winnipeg TV. Of course, we have all the highlights every night, as well as detailed coverage of the local sports scene. That includes the Safeway Select Provincial Men's Curling Championship coming up next month in Brandon. We're going to be all over that story.
You could be our guest here in Brandon that week. Win tickets and free accommodation here at the Trails West Motor Inn. Watch Sportsline for details on how to enter.
Boy, this sports announcer stuff is tough work, isn't it, girls?
To Sportsline!
Well, Gary Wilson, that was a big win for the Winnipeg Jets. They have been awesome on the road so far this season in 1996. Anyway, with 3 wins, a loss, and a tie. And if you can do it on the road, well, you should be able to do it at home.
Well, that's something to build on. But like you say, we got to see that come out of these guys at home. They haven't been doing that so far, but you got to wonder, what is it that makes these guys tick the way they have been on the road this season? They got to find that way to win that they've done on the road, bring it home. Sounds like it should be an easy solution, but so far this season, Jets have been having trouble with that.
Yeah, I mentioned that Nikolai Habibullin, his return after missing 20 games because of the knee strain in his right knee, stopped 75 shots in the return, the 1-1 tie last night in Washington, and the victory tonight over Toronto.
Well, it's a real, a real nice surprise for the Jets Hockey Club. And I don't know about goaltending, but when I came back from an injury, I was excited to be back, and I played on a lot of adrenaline. But goaltending's different. There's a lot of timing there, getting back in those reflexes, and you wouldn't expect a goalie to come back and play that well. But boy, Habibullin has shown everybody really a strong 2 outings the last 2 games. right on top of his game immediately.
Yeah. Well, with this victory tonight, the Jets now take over 5th place in the overall Western Conference standings. That's something very nice for them going into the All-Star break.
Well, we mentioned that earlier, that you know, one win can pole vault a team up 3 or 4 spots in the standings, and that's what's happened tonight. There's a clump in the middle of the pack there, and it's so important right now. Teams will start to focus on that playoff race. You know, you can never wait till the last minute in this league. Every 2 points is very important, and now that should be a real boost. Give the Jets some confidence. A couple days off to think about. Now they're sitting in 5th place.
Yeah, it may take a few strokes off their golf game, which they'll be practicing as most of them, spend the weekend in Phoenix checking out their new home for next season. Kerry Wilson, thank you very much. We'll see you again next Wednesday when the Jets return to action to play the St. Louis Blues. Tonight, they defeated the Toronto Maple Leafs in Toronto by a score of 4-2. Still more to come as our Molson Jets hockey telecast continues after this.
Ouch! Are aches and pains slowing you down? How would you like to have a team of masseuses relaxing every muscle in your body? Then try Bodysage, the incredible new full-body massager that relieves tired, aching muscles in just minutes. Look, ordinary massagers only touch one area at a time, but Bodysage has 5 strategically placed motors that send penetrating waves of relief to every muscle, your neck and shoulders, lower back, hips, thighs, and calves. It's like having 5 personal masseuses. Bend your knees to give your tired, aching feet a soothing foot massage. The amazing remote control lets you target specific muscles, adjust the speed and intensity. Select a full massage to deeply relax every muscle in your body, or a cycled massage to feel waves gently roll along from head to toe. The therapeutic foam design makes you feel like you're floating on a cloud of air. You won't believe the comfort.
The Bodysage takes the tension out of my lower back, and I feel great.
I get a lot of aches and pains lifting my little daughter, but Bodysage makes it feel good all over.
Bodysage's convenient carrying strap lets you use it anywhere, anytime. Turn your ordinary chair, your bed, the floor into your personal massage center in seconds. One visit to a masseuse can cost over $50. This massage mat costs $295, and this one costs thousands. But now on this special TV offer, you can enjoy the ultimate full-body massage with Bodysage for the incredibly low price of only 4 payments of $44.99. We guarantee you'll love Bodysage or your money back. Don't suffer any longer. Enjoy the most heavenly massage experience of your life every day. Call now.
Use your credit card and call 1-800-665-1484. We'll bill your credit card for monthly payments of $44.99 plus shipping. Full payment mail orders accepted, or use our convenient payment plan. That's 1-800-665-1484. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call 1-800-665-1484 now.
Play. Nice follow through. You know, Jack, these guys
It's a beautiful day. Why don't you kids do something different for a change?
There's the pump fake.
Okay, Mom.
He's looking for an opening. Oh, nice hustle in there. Pass is good. Oh, these guys are in perfect sync.
Introducing the great taste of new Taco Supreme flavored Doritos tortilla chips.
That was a good idea. That was a real good idea.
Today in Ottawa, Bill S7, the Alternative Fuels Act, became law.
We would reduce the CO2 emissions into the atmosphere by 20,000 tons a year.
To help clean up the environment.
On June 22nd, 1995, the federal government made a decision to run its vehicles on fuels less harmful to the environment.
Such as propane, natural gas, ethanol, and methanol.
Alternative fuels are a terrific Canadian opportunity.
Guess we were 15 years ahead of our time. Mohawk, Mother Nature's alternative gas station.
If you're like me, you know the importance of contributing to your RSP. It's one of the most significant financial decisions any of us can make. And that's why you should consider investing with CI mutual funds. At CI, you can choose from a range of 20 Canadian and international funds. And you have the assurance that your RSP will be managed by some of the most respected money managers in the world. Your financial advisor knows CI mutual funds. All you have to do is ask.
Promotional considerations provided by Waltham Watches, a name known for prestige and quality since 1857, elegant styling, and the latest in technology. A name you can trust in modern timepieces. Waltham.
McDonald's, Andy.
McDonald's has a solution for the after-holiday pinch.
McDonald's, Fred.
2 double hamburgers for only $2. They're just the value break you need this time of year.
What do you got, Andy?
2 double hamburgers. What do you got?
2 double hamburgers, $2. Hey, Jackie, what do you got?
Yeah, what do you got?
Turkey.
And luckily,
Fruitcake.
No.
There's still a little time left to get them. 2 double hamburgers for $2, only until Friday.
Dad, you worked late.
Oh, all night. You need any help?
No.
Good, because I'm too tired.
I know that you'll always come through.
Thought you could use some help.
Thanks.
Atlantel introduces Bacon Wave, the amazing microwave tray that helps you cook perfect bacon. In minutes, you will have truly delicious and crispy bacon. It's simple. You just put the slices in the slots, slide the skewers in place, and cook in the microwave. And no more splashing. Bacon Wave eliminates a whole lot of fat. You can stack Bacon Wave trays to cook up to 20 slices of leaner, healthier bacon for all your recipe ideas. Bacon Wave is now available in these fine stores.
Tonight's Safeway Score and Win grand prize winner will receive a trip or two to Mazatlan, Mexico, where you and a guest will spend 7 glorious days on the sun-drenched beaches at the Caravel Beach Club, courtesy of Canadian Holidays, Canada's largest vacation company. Tonight's grand prize winner is Mr. Dave Sexton of Winnipeg, who entered Score and Win by attaching a proof of purchase from Kraft Dinner. Fill out a ballot at your local Safeway. Score and Win at Safeway. Today's better way. Well, the Jets were winners tonight, and so were these Safeway Score and Win shoppers. Let's tell you who they are. Roy Odger of Winnipeg, a GE Spacemaker 2 microwave Winnipeg Jets with this win. Their record goes to 20 wins, 22 losses, and 4 ties as they hit the All-Star break. The 44 points moves them into a 5th place tie with the St. Louis Blues in the overall